Mother, man.
Hello, it's Edwin. Come buy my feathers so I can get a flute of gold.
Spreading faster than a case of the clap in a trailer court. Able to shatter eardrums within a 666-mile radius. A podcast more brutal than all the rest. It's murder! Metal! Mayhem!
All right, what is up, gentlemen?
What's going on, motherfuckers?
Doing that thing we do on Tuesday here at Horns High Studios on the Horns High Podcast Network, episode 141 going down tonight.
Fuck yeah.
Definitely stoked for this one. This one's going to be a lot of fun. Little departure.
You've been fucking giddy about this.
I have, man. I've been just patiently waiting. Of course, Joey and Chris are in here with me. How is everybody? How was your Memorial Day weekend, Chris? I ran into you at Walmart. That was cool.
We did. That was fucking
we were doing some shopping for some supplies.
Yeah, mine had more alcohol in it than
pizza.
I
was looking at water, and he was buying fucking whatever.
I bought a handle. Me and Sam split a handle of fucking Maker's Mark, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
nice. Well, that's good. He did some grilling and stuff.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Went to that show Saturday, and Joey fucking, hell yeah.
That's awesome. Where was the show, Joey?
Up in Chicago at the Sugar Skull.
Nice. Yeah. And that was a Goremonger show?
No,
we just went up there.
You just went up to check it out?
It was Virulent Excision, Cannibal Abortion,
Carnographer,
and Gorgatron. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
It was a dope show.
That must have been brutal.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then you went to a Cubs game too.
And I went to a Cubs game.
That's awesome.
Next day.
So you were busy out gallivanting around.
We went to Chicago Sunday to go to the show. Turned around after the show, drove back. Cashman went home after dropping us off and turned around and drove back to Chicago.
Jesus.
Like a couple hours later, yeah.
Wow. Fucking crazy.
But my buddy offered me a free ticket and shit, and I was like, fuck. I was like, I want to go. And I had the day off. It was Memorial Day.
Right.
It's like, I don't give a fuck. And like, by the time I got home, I'm sitting there like, I just want to fucking sleep and say fuck it.
I'm sure.
But I'm glad I didn't, though. But,
yeah. Well, that's cool. Yeah, we had a graduation party and a cookout the following day, but the weather was just absolutely
the weather was great.
Perfect.
Hell
I mean, like low 70s, like really nice. Little
12.
chilly in the morning, not
Low
quite to low
12s.
12, but little chilly in the morning. I kind of liked it. But what shirts we got on, Chris? Looks like you're...
Speaking of the Cubs, I just got a Cubs shirt on, fucking logo down it. That's about it.
That's cool. Joey, what about you?
I got the Aborning Scum Gang shirt on.
Nice.
Today.
Scum Gang.
Yep.
Hell yeah. And I am wearing...
Hell yeah, you are.
A very unique shirt, Chris. The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monsters.
Yes, Pastafarians, man.
And that's why I had the colander on my head. If you've not seen the documentary, I Pastafari, about the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monsters, you got to go check this out. This is a real thing about these guys that are trying to get this religion accepted and legally accepted so they can wear colanders on their heads when they take their driver's license picture and other things that your religions, like tax-free and all that shit.
You guys had never heard of that shit before.
I had never heard of it. We stumbled on it, and I lost my fucking mind. I had to buy a shirt.
Right?
So I've had this shirt for a couple weeks now, and I've been like almost going to bust it out. I'm like, what episode? Because this almost would be fun to do as an episode.
Right?
But I thought I can't wait for that because that would be like fall or winter,
Right.
So I got to bust it out. I thought, you know what, the Feather Thief is so fucking absurd that why not? So that's why I'm wearing my Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, and it says that I'm ordained. Yeah, I'm ordained in the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. So, all right. Well, last week we did a good one on Gypsy Rose Blanchard. We had a lot of listeners really anxious to hear us talk about that, which is always cool.
Yeah.
And so thank you to everybody that listened and some great comments about it. If you missed it, though, go on and give episode 140 a listen, hear us talk about that wild story of Gypsy Rose and how her mother lied to the world about all these medical conditions that she supposedly had. That whole Munchausen syndrome by proxy, which is very interesting. And it ended with Gypsy Rose and her boyfriend, Nicholas Godejohn, killing the mother, Dee Dee. Really brutal. I think that was in '05. And so that's just a gruesome one. But an interesting story about how that shit went down.
You don't get many Missouri stories.
No.
That's right. The Show Me State.
The Faye and Ray Copeland. That was
That's
there,
right.
Yeah.
Faye and Ray. That's right. And CK called in to talk about the band Overcast. We had a good mayhem story from Joey with some pictures
Oh, yeah.
this week as a reminder. I
Yes.
remembered seeing those, and god damn, that was fucking nuts. So if you missed episode 140, there's a lot there. We just passed 1100 when I checked earlier this morning, so it's doing really good. Tonight, though, guys, as Chris mentioned, I've been a little giddy about this one. We have been joking around. I did not get a chance to look back, Joey, on when this first was spoken.
It's been a while.
It's
though.
been at least a couple of months,
Yeah.
at least.
Yeah, I've been doing the page a day for
From
a
the
minute,
page
so.
a day, yeah, because it was a story you read about this, and it was so funny because as you're reading the story, you know, we're listening to you talk about this guy stealing $1 million of bird feathers. And it's like, really? Like, we're used to
what?
talking about like bodies in dumpsters and
Yeah, we're talking about
you know,
bird feathers
cannibalism
right now.
and fucked up shit like that. So the bird feather thing didn't seem very interesting. But what was great about it was the ending of the thing was
Fucking metal flute.
he moved to Germany and started making heavy metal flute videos that got me. And I was like, what the hell is a heavy metal flute video? And so I'm,
Yeah, like
you know,
Joey said, like when he's still talking.
as he's talking, I'm
like,
looking
what
it
the
up on
fuck,
YouTube.
dude?
And I held up my phone and I
Yeah.
showed Joey, you know, we were laughing. So we have had a lot of fun with this one. We even did a fake commercial inspired by this that you'll get to hear tonight. But
Yeah.
we're going to be doing Edwin Rist, and that's Rist. Did you check with our friend Shane to see if he's related?
I was like, hey,
that would
man.
be hilarious,
Yeah,
dude,
that
if he
would
was.
be funny.
Known to some as the Feather Thief and to some as the Heavy Metal Flute. However you
Heavy
know
Metal
him, how the two nicknames intertwine is obviously the basis of what we're going to talk about tonight. It is absolutely insane. A 2009 case of $1 million of rare bird feathers stolen from a museum in England, and the culprit, Edwin Rist, stole them, gentlemen, so he could buy a gold flute.
Dude, that's baller.
That sounds like the story of the fucking magic beans
Yeah.
and Jack and the
Right.
Beanstalk,
Need
doesn't
this-
it?
Yeah, need this
Like,
flute.
it's so fucking ridiculous
Yeah.
that you just can't but laugh at it, you
Yeah.
know?
The
But it's
pick
true.
It's like the pick of destiny.
It is.
Yeah, right? Yeah,
It is.
straight
It's
up.
so absurd.
That's funny.
So these feathers are sought after by a hardcore group of fishing fly lure tires. They were very colorful, but most importantly, very rare and
Super rare.
expensive.
Yeah, and like some of these feathers and whatnot, or the birds are like extinct and shit.
Right.
So, like,
Yeah, the birds of paradise and all these, like you said, Chris, extinct species of birds, unbelievably rare. And this fucking guy steals almost 300 of
so
them.
fucking crazy.
And we're going to tell you about this one. It's a funny story, and there's no real murder in it, I guess,
Yeah,
other
there's
than
no-
the birds.
Yeah, I mean the,
The
birds were
birds
already
died
dead.
as part of them becoming in the exhibit. But so they're not like 300 live birds. That would have been pretty intense. So he steals these dead bird, preserved dead birds. And we'll get all into this, but it's going to be a funny one. Nice little break in the usual,
Little
just
comical.
after a month of the most offensive child killing stories. It's kind of nice to
Yeah.
bust out the Feather Thief as a little palate cleanse for the rest of the month of
No
June.
murder, but it's
So-
got metal and it's got mayhem in it. So
it
fuck
does. It does. So, since Edwin makes heavy metal flute videos, we're going to be using his music exclusively for this episode. And I
yeah.
do want to say, I did reach out to Edwin. I reached out to the author of the book and a couple of the other players in this story, and not a one responded to me. So,
Well, I mean, apparently that's a touchy subject in the
it
title
is.
world. So
It
I
is.
was
So,
going to try to talk to him
we'll
about,
leave it alone.
about his heavy metal flute.
That's all I was going to
I
talk
was
to
going
him
to try to
about.
talk
That
to
would
him
have been
about
the
it on
shit.
his messenger from YouTube, but I couldn't figure it out. I don't know if he just doesn't have one on there or, whatever, security.
Interesting.
Probably, because he probably has a bunch of motherfuckers like
Trying to bother him
or
and
fuck
shit.
with him and shit. Yeah.
Probably. So it's just going to be nuts. We got CK warming up, though. He's ready to throw down in the metal segment. He's going to talk about how COVID affected heavy metal and some of the big tours and shows coming up this year. So that's good. And we figured since we're going to be using all the Edwin Rist flute music for this episode, can't even say it without laughing, we would have CK, not feature a band. We always like to play music from the band CK features, if you haven't noticed. But it should be a killer segment from CK, and we'll do that, of course, coming up in the metal segment of the show. Tonight, though, gentlemen, we are doing a good killer cage match. We got some members to say our random numbers provided by our friends and listeners. Chris, who we got at this time?
We got Lila Z, how's it going? Jim Bethel, what's up? And Rebecca Boomsock's still
Rebecca.
in there, the champion.
She is. She was the first one to advance order my new book.
Hell yeah.
So Rebecca's awesome. And yeah, Jim Bethel, that was a blast from the past. Good dude. And from back in the low 12 days doing sound.
Not from Bethel, Connecticut.
Not from Bethel, Connecticut, right. Tonight we'll have a good cage match going down. We got a couple of good ones tonight, Joey.
We're back to our normal format because
right.
If you didn't hear the whole last month, we had the fighter was the woman murderer
featured,
our feature from each episode. So this time we're back to having two of our random fighters that were picked by our listeners.
Right.
And with that, we have Osama bin Laden versus Timothy McVeigh.
Ooh.
They both like to blow things up.
They do. They do. Kind of an interesting matchup with Memorial Day. That is weird how it happened. It honestly is weird.
This cage match is going to be lit.
For real.
I think so. They'll have two objects and a variable to make it interesting. And of course, we do that in the Mayhem segment. So you need to keep listening. And you need to keep going to spellboundeffectsandart.com.
For sure.
A great sponsor of the show. We talk about them a lot. Chris, some really killer stuff.
I love all their shit, man.
Like Ed Gein is back there just making this shit up. Tony's just cranking out the gore.
He's got a little piece of Ed Gein in him.
I think so too.
It's like, if you gave him real flesh, he'd probably do the same thing.
Probably. But the lamps, the forearms, the heads, he could do it all. So spellboundeffectsandart.com. Check it out. Also, thanks to our friends at Rotten Cotton for sponsoring us, as well as the Voice of Dread podcast. Those guys have the sickest T-shirts, stickers, buttons, comics.
All that shit.
I've been saying I need to order the Panzeram shirt. I think I'm going to do it after the show tonight. I've been wanting to get that shirt really bad.
Slacking Pete.
It's nasty. So rottencotton.com, and Joey, they got a nice way to save a few bucks.
Yeah, you can be like Pete, and you can get on there.
Yep.
And if you go to the discount code and type in Mayhem, off your $20 or more order, you get 15% off.
That's awesome. And we've had quite a few listeners. Guy bought a hoodie.
Yep.
And we've had some people say they bought stuff from him. Dathan, my daughter's boyfriend, bought a couple shirts. Said the quality was really good. Took a little while to get to him, but he says that right on his website.
Yeah.
There's some shirts that take longer than others, so you just have to be patient.
Stephanie ordered two of the shirts with the discount for her brother for his birthday, and then showed up a little later. But then she went on the website and she saw, and it says 4 to 6 weeks for shipping.
Yeah, it depends. One style of shirt he does is one way, and the others are faster.
However, they're badass.
They're amazing. Yeah, the one I got, the
Quality.
Omen one I got is sick.
That one's dirty.
Thanks to everybody out there listening to us. We keep seeing the good numbers rolling in this week. 3,200 listens, down about 300 from last week, but that's still awesome. Up over our usual. So thank you, everybody listening. We are, Chris, so close to that milestone.
400,000.
400,000 total listens. When I checked it over the weekend, it was 397. So based on our average listens, there should be no reason why we don't hit 400,000 next week, which would be really cool.
Motherfuckers.
That's right. So thank you, everybody. And that's since when we started in 2018. So it's been 3 years and just past our 3 year, and that's really awesome. So thank you. Well, Chris, Joey, we got a lot on our plate tonight. Going to be heading over to England. Maybe we'll see the guys at Onslaught while we're there.
Yeah.
For this one, and we'll see if we can catch a thief, a feather thief who plays heavy metal flute. To be more specific.
Dude. Yeah, let's get our museum heist on.
Oh my god,
Dude, I ain't gonna lie, that takes talent.
Oh,
though,
it's
man.
fucking
Like,
wicked,
fuck.
man. It's wicked, but it's just so crazy.
Seeing that video, that one fucking flute looks really weird with the curve in it
Yeah.
and shit. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, he's got videos. That was Edwin Rist, the guy known as Heavy Metal Flute, also the Feather Thief that we're going to talk about tonight. But that was his version, of course, of the Metallica classic Master of Puppets. Fucking amazing.
Dude.
And got a little surprise for him at the end. That is a little special one for this episode. But hilarious shit. Pretty funny stuff. And it's just such a crazy story. We couldn't help but busting out some
Fucking
heavy
right.
metal flute tonight.
Heavy metal flute.
So tonight we're going to be talking about a very interesting story that I'm sure most of our listeners have never heard of before our stupid asses brought this up on the page a day.
And it really wasn't that fucking long ago,
No,
bro.
it really wasn't. He fast-tracked through the system. We'll be talking about Edwin Rist, an American flautist who that's a guy who plays the flute.
Yeah.
Just to make it clear. So I'm sure most of our listeners are like, what?
Plays the
The
flute.
fuck is a flautist?
Plays a flout.
Wow, that's like a fat flute? I don't know. What the hell is that?
It's that heavy metal flute. It's
That's
iron.
right.
It's made
There
out
you
of
go. It's
iron.
heavier, yeah. Who was attending London's Royal Academy of Music. He breaks into a British Museum of Natural History in 2009 and stole 299. I don't know why he just didn't grab one more.
One more, bro.
But
Come on.
extremely rare bird skins and feathers that were valued at $1 million in the black market. Just absolutely insane. He did this because he was very obsessed with fly tying in a very obscure Victorian style that used rare feathers from extinct birds and also for their value so he could sell them to buy a special gold flute. I'm not even kidding. I mean, that
This
sounds
flute made of gold.
right.
They even said
It
it-
sounds like a story out of a children's nursery
Because
rhyme
it's
book.
gold. They even said in the fucking book that fucking
The platinum one was like 20 grand.
Right.
He went like low budget with
But
the
they
gold
said like
one.
even like huge people in the flute world, like you can't even tell the sound difference. It's not like
Right.
it's making a fucking sound
Right.
difference.
It's just
at
a
all.
show thing. Yeah. He wanted to be the guy with the golden flute.
But it's kind of goes along with the fly fishing thing because
Right.
It's
that
super
it's all
extravagant.
It's all
about
show.
status.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with reality.
So with the
which we'll
flute,
get
he
to.
wants to walk into a fucking a
And
symphony
stand
or
out.
whatever and be like, "Whoosh, here's my gold flute."
Right. Like fucking, he needs to be a Devil Went Down to Georgia. Comes in with the gold flute, beats Satan and the other guy.
Hell
And
yeah.
fucking, I don't know what happens,
We
but
should have had Edwin versus the devil in the fucking cage match.
there you go. Very interesting story, and I'm stoked to do this one, as we can all tell. We're all just laughing about this. Now, Joey, we've said you were the one. It's your fault that you brought this
Yeah.
to us from the Page a Day story, and
Fucking
it's
A.
so funny how it's just really grown legs, and
Yeah.
we've just talked about it a lot.
As things tend to do here.
Yeah.
But I was interested because whenever we started looking into this, and I went to Barnes and Noble and like in their special fucking cult section or whatever, true
Right.
crime, that book was like right there.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, so it's kind of got a following with the story and shit.
Right.
Obviously, people are checking it out. But on the other hand, I went to look up like whenever I was first looking up Edwin Rist for for the flute videos and trying to figure out how to fucking contact him, which we never were able to do. But
Right.
I had to type almost his whole name in the fucking search bar
Really?
before it popped up. So I was like, okay, you're not that famous, motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But no, I was.
Or he's paid a lot of money to scrub the internet,
Yeah.
or whatever the hell they call it.
But I
you know.
think in book circles, I think it's the feather thief. The story itself probably became a bigger thing,
Right.
More of a book cult.
Yeah, and probably where Page Today got the idea in the first place. Not really
Probably.
the fucking story,
Sure.
maybe, but but now we're taking it and doing our thing with it.
Yeah, just such a good one. Such a good one.
Fuck yeah.
Now, Chris, this isn't a murder story, and we still thought it would be good to cover,
Shit.
but it is $1 million heist. I mean, it's a good story.
It's a real good story, but there is murder. He murders that flute, bro. Fuck.
That's true.
Fuck, dude.
And like I said, those poor birds, I mean, they ended up in that suitcase somehow, you know.
Right. Well, I mean, they were already dead from a century ago. Or whatever,
Right,
but
that's
come
true.
on.
I know, just having some
But
fun.
yeah, he just murdered that.
They got all them birds in one suitcase.
That's fucking
That's nuts,
crazy.
man. I wonder how big that fucking suitcase
I know,
was.
right?
He's dragging it through that
dude.
busted window, then climbing over a fence. I mean, that takes. I mean, I'm guessing that thing had some weight to it.
And he wasn't a big dude.
No, he wasn't. So, like you guys, I had never heard of this story before we started talking about it here. Looking up those videos while Joey was reading the story was just so fun because it was so natural and we were laughing legitimately because the whole thing was so absurd. Now, I would normally wait, till the end of a feature to talk about other sources, but this one so heavily revolves around the book that Chris and I read, The
Well, I
Feather
listened to
Thief. Yeah, well, same thing.
Same thing.
You listened to it, you read it, same difference. By Kirk Wallace Johnson. That is a fantastic source. I'm not trying to sell books. I'm just saying that that's the book on this guy. There is no other one that I'm aware of. But this was so exhaustively researched. I mean, this dude went all over the world to find these lost feathers.
Yeah.
At
Even
the
like
end.
before the book, like all his research is just in the
5
case
years.
itself. Yeah.
5 years of his life he invested in this. After he recovered from a nasty PTSD injury from being in Afghanistan, he walked right out of a hotel room like 3 stories high and fell face first on the pavement outside, like busted his head.
Goddamn.
And real bad, like reconstructed his teeth, and he almost died. And so then he got into this when he was recovering and he was fishing on a trip.
Yep.
And that's how he heard about this whole story. So it's just amazing. But he was in New Mexico, and the guide told him the story of Edwin Rist, and
It's
he
like,
was
wait,
just
this
like,
guy
wow.
did what? All because of the fucking making the fly.
And
Yeah.
he had never written a book.
No, he had. He wrote about his Iraq experience or Afghanistan
Yeah, he
experience.
did.
I
Yeah.
can't remember the name of it. But there was and actually there's a...
Or maybe he said he didn't have a publisher. There was something he was
There was
saying.
something he was saying.
I'm
I
not
remember
sure,
that.
but I'm pretty sure that one came out before Feather Thief, but maybe it is in the reverse. I'm not sure. But like I said, there's a video on YouTube you can watch with him being interviewed for a PBS show.
That was really good.
That
The
was very
discussion
good.
episode.
And it does leave a lot of stuff out, which was my burning question, is how the hell did he get away with it? How did he go on to make heavy metal flute
That's
videos after
still
stealing
never been answered.
$1 million? No, it has in
Yeah.
the book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in the
I mean,
book,
we
yeah.
got it. Yeah, we got it tonight, but it's crazy how it all happens.
Yeah.
So, but you will get your answer when we're done with this story tonight. And another thing to note is I'm intentionally leaving the names out of the guys in the fly tying community because I know they don't want to be involved. And out of respect, I'm like, there's no real reason for me to say their names.
Not really.
So I'm just going to leave them out. We will allude to their involvement in the story, but I'm not going to use the names of the ones
They
who have
said
publicly...
we're a tight-knit community. You do not fuck with
Yeah.
us.
Yeah, they
That's
straight
what
up
they told
He
said
told
that,
them, don't
dude.
fuck with them. Yeah.
It's like, holy shit.
yeah.
What the?
Yeah, they tried to scare him away to stop doing this.
Not
So,
to mention, like, all those dudes have some money of some sort.
oh, yeah.
So, you don't want, I don't know,
No,
that's like
they
hostile.
were like very ominous about it. Yeah, it's pretty
They're
crazy.
like, we go fly fishing for people.
So just wanted to make those points there. Now, the story in the book begins putting this in historical perspective because, like, we're sitting here laughing about this, but these feathers are so rare and so sought after. And why? Why are they so sought after? You're talking about explorers in the 1800s that went around the world to find these
wooden
very
boats.
rare, exotic birds and bugs and all
like
these different, every
Going
species.
to places that
the Amazon.
Yeah, the Amazon, like
dangerous.
they're making record of that's why they're bringing the animals and everything back.
Right.
The birds and all the bugs and everything in the story. That's why they're bringing them back, because they're making the records of fucking where this is, making it a known place.
Yeah, because the tags on them say who got the specimen, where, like longitude, latitude,
right,
the date. So when Edwin later steals these things and he's ripping the tags off like they don't matter, it's like, that's fucked up, you know, because that's everything they need to know to be able to use these things for research, even, you know, going into the future. So he does a really good job at explaining that. Now, Chris, there's that one story where the guy, Alfred Russel Wallace, he's on a ship and they got all this shit.
All these specimens and everything.
Years of work burn up in the fire,
like, didn't hardly come back with anything.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
how much of a fucking bitch would that be? And he stayed at it. He went back.
Yeah, he went back. And this is after he had some kind of issues with, what was it? It was like his knees or his ankles. They were like swell.
Like that.
He couldn't walk and shit. So he's like in the hospital forever, recovered from that, and then fucking went back to do more shit.
Right.
So he was...
And he went all other places too.
Not just back to the Amazon.
Yeah, I mean, most people know about Charles Darwin, of course, but Wallace was in the same time period, and they were like competitors, so to speak.
Basically, yeah.
So, you know, that name Charles Darwin is pretty well known in science, but not so much Alfred Russel Wallace. So anyway, he does a really good job. And I don't want to bore people with all of that, but I do want to make them understand of why these things are so important, because these are extinct.
It's a part of it.
Or very rare in places of the world at that time nobody had ever been to before.
Yeah, and not even allowed. Some of them weren't even allowed to be on the trade, in it being able to buy it. You shouldn't be able to buy it. Some
of them weren't even in display cases for the museum. They were strictly
put away.
Drawers.
Exactly. Yeah. And we'll get into that, how he fucking got there too. Fuck.
Yeah, it's nuts. So I wanted you guys to understand the significance here, why this was such what some would say like an abomination against science, because he took and destroyed a lot of stuff that these guys went literally to the ends of the earth, and some died in these procedures.
They went to the end.
Yeah, that's true.
And not only that, I mean, that collecting the birds, of course, like you said, it was very dangerous and everything else. But the scientists nowadays, he was talking about how they were taking like seagull feathers and being able to understand like the tides and everything else,
and mercury levels, like what it was like then and now, and what had changed between then to cause that.
All from that bird's feathers,
right?
So,
and now he just rips the tags off, in essence, making them useless. You know. So that's fucked up. Joey, I never realized, that this was a thing, but, the way they can study that is pretty amazing, which does definitely make this some pretty important shit.
Yeah, and that's why you might, oh my God, this dude stole some dead birds and shit, and it doesn't seem like much.
Right.
The museum that he broke into to steal these artifacts and stuff had the largest collection of these birds in the world.
Yeah, it was the second largest, they said, but still, I mean, that's a lot.
Yeah,
750,000.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. So 25% of the book is about this huge cost of time, money, and human life that went into preserving these specimens. The birds have names I had never heard of before: the red-ruffed fruit crow, the spangled contiga, and the resplendent quetzal or quetzal.
Now, some of them, I don't know if they were exactly those ones or they were just showing some of the birds from the museum, but a couple of them are still species that are alive or whatnot.
Right.
But like one of them, which I just happened to see at a zoo recently, but they're called cock on the rock. And I saw one of those skins whenever I was watching the documentary where I was like, cock on the rock.
Nice. Now these,
I looked up the fucking the blue chatter too, because I was like, chatter is a weird name.
Oh,
yeah.
That fucking thing was blue.
Right.
Really?
Like your shirt blue.
No, like goddamn, like
very
iridescent
vibrant
as fuck, dude.
Yeah, the colors on these birds are really unbelievable. Yeah. The skins were kept in various locations before ending up at the British Museum of Natural History in Tring. They were kept in a temperature-controlled area, like Chris said, in cabinets with drawers. They're all organized as to, the type of birds that they were. The author does a really good job explaining all that goes into getting the birds and how they're stored and kept. Very fascinating. But again, I didn't want to get too in the weeds there. Ironically, at the same time, the fashion trend was women wearing these crazy ass hats. I mean, Chris, what the fuck?
Like
full birds on the fucking
like
hat.
a Native American headdress,
Right.
like just fucking like what
Like
the
a
fuck,
bird,
dude?
like an entire bird
They
on
would
top
have
of
an
the hat.
entire bird.
Literally,
in the fucking-
on their head.
But they're like these exotic birds that are
Yeah.
like unbelievably rare. And this bitch has a stuffed one on her
Yeah.
fucking hat,
And they're like, look
It's
how
crazy.
look how fabulous I
Yeah,
am.
I'm so fucking
basically
cool.
that.
This
It's
crow.
so crazy. So the demand for them was very high. Chris referred to it as feather thief or feather fever.
Yeah, feather fever.
People were just fucking obsessed with these feathers.
like
Poor
motherfuckers were
bitches were just fucking throwing pigeons up in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got nothing. Chickens
Check
and
me out.
pigeons. Yeah.
motherfuckers
Maybe
straight up
some
be
rat
having-
hair to throw to make it look like
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
like
know.
before like fur jackets, it was like feather everything. Like
Right.
before fur coats and
That's
shit.
true. That's true. Now, most people didn't even think about animals going extinct, so they didn't give a shit.
Right, oh, they're gonna be
They're
around
just
forever,
ripping through
whatever.
them. Yeah, but they'll be there forever. 1918, though, it finally becomes illegal to possess most of these rare feathers. So these guys that are doing this, still apparently, according to the author on eBay, you can buy these things
Like the old
still.
hats, yeah. If somebody, and they go fucking
Or the feathers, just the
they'll
feathers.
just sell the feathers for hundreds of thousands of dollars just
Yeah.
for one feather.
It's the group of people known as the Feather Underground, which I thought was hilarious because of that terrorist
Yeah.
organization from the 70s, the Weather Underground. The Feather Underground that practices the lost art of Victorian fly tying. I mean, what a random thing to become
You
obsessed
ever look
with.
up some of these flies?
They're intense.
Oh,
man.
they are
Oh, yeah.
fucking intense.
I'm just saying, like, it's such a random thing. Like, the way he finds out about it, which we'll talk. The salmon lures are these very extravagant ones that can cost thousands to make if you follow what they call the recipe in the books that they write about the
because you
subject.
need these feathers, yeah.
Yeah, in the late 1800s and early 1900s, there were several of them.
And way back in the day, it was a sign of prestigiousness to be able to salmon fish.
True.
Yeah,
Because-
because it was privately owned property.
Yeah, like if you were fishing for salmon, you had some money or some wealth or status or something.
Interesting.
Poor people weren't allowed to do
No,
that.
they're out catfishing, bottom feeding
Yeah,
and shit,
yeah.
carp and shit.
Right. And so, and with the trout fishing and stuff, they had to make these lures. So the trout lures are not nearly as extravagant as these ones we're talking about. But the salmon ones, like I said, they use these recipes. And they get these really interesting names too. There were others in the modern age that also wrote about it, which gave it a little bit of a resurgence in Edwin's time. Since some of these birds are often extinct or very, very rare, a few feathers could cost a person thousands. So most of the fly tyers, they use common feathers like, chicken and pigeons.
And
And
they dye them or whatever.
yeah, they dye them and then they use like heat to make them smaller and stuff if they're too big for what they need them done, to do with it.
That's a lot of DIY shit going on.
There
in a
is.
fucking
So, I mean, but
fly.
they're able to do it, which is really amazing. There are a very select group of people that get the rare feathers like we're talking about. So it's a very dark kind of underground thing. And I mean, Chris, had you ever heard of people doing this with rare bird feathers? It almost sounds like somebody's joking you,
Dude, I knew that fucking the fly fish. I've heard it before, like people like making their own flies. I
Yeah.
always thought it was cool, but until this shit, I had no idea. Like motherfuckers got into that like it's fucking cocaine and shit.
I know. My uncle
Like,
used to
it's-
make them and still does with deer hair, but they're for trout, not
right,
for
they
salmon.
could be the browns and they don't got to be the bright colors.
Right.
The thing about the salmon is they don't attack. They're not attacking it to eat either.
Right. That's fascinating.
Yeah, they're not attacking this fly to eat. It's after they fucking spawn their eggs or whatever, and they're
Right.
protecting their eggs. They think it's something coming to attack their
Right.
eggs, so they're coming to eat this fucking fly as an attack mode, not because they're hungry.
Right.
So it's fucking crazy that they got to be all colorful like that. You think?
And
Well,
they
when
got-
they
got
when
your
they
shit.
transfer from salt to fresh,
Yeah.
it fucks up their vision and
That-
they
oh,
go
yeah, that's right,
infrared.
that's right.
So they can't even see the
Yeah.
color. So the colors are
That's right.
useless.
They said there were people.
It's total bullshit. The whole thing is complete. You're not fishing with these.
They said people were
You're-
using like
it's a-
fucking rat hair or fucking candy wrapper.
Yeah,
to
a
fucking
candy
catch it
wrapper
Yeah,
catches
it
them.
don't matter. Yeah.
because all they're doing is fucking biting at it to attack. Like you
Right.
said.
Yeah. So it's hilarious that they're going to all these lengths, Chris, to
Make this brightly
that doesn't
colored
matter. You
shit.
can get a Baby Ruth fucking wrapper and put it on there and
And
probably
they're
get
gonna
the same
fucking hit.
result.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know, Chris, if you go to these conventions and do
go.
fly tying.
I
or-
go them all the time, man. You have no idea.
Okay, I
You
didn't
have no
realize
idea,
that about you. Edwin, I thought I knew you, Chris. Edwin was born in New York City in 1988.
I won't lie. I wouldn't mind going to one just to watch these
that'd
motherfuckers
be
do
sick.
that shit, though.
That'd be
I would
sick.
totally love to check that
Yeah,
shit
if
out.
you were like all baked, I mean, that would be a pretty intense fucking
Like, just watch-
experience, I'm sure.
like, goddamn, how are you doing that?
He's got a younger brother, Anton. I wonder if he was named after Anton LaVey, but
Right.
I thought that was kind of cool.
I don't know who Edwin would have been named after because
I don't
I've
know.
never known another Edwin.
There might be a satanic Edwin. I don't know. Their parents were both Ivy Leaguers and freelance writers who left New York City in 1998 and moved 120 miles north to Claverack, I'm not sure how to say it, New York. Not familiar with the town. They homeschooled the kids, so kept them kind of whisked away. Edwin and Anton were very gifted students. They're also having music lessons, so they're excelling.
Yeah, Edwin was like obviously badass as a fucking flute, and his brother started playing clarinet and shit.
Yeah,
So.
and they were both amazingly
they
good and
excelled at
very,
that
very
too, yeah.
smart. And one day, Edwin's dad was watching a video on the physics of fly fishing for this article he was writing. And Edwin happened to be in the room and was just like mesmerized by this.
That's so weird. That's what.
Yeah, he like
11
totally
he's like
zoned
11,
on
yeah.
it. Became obsessed with it. His dad took him to the local, fly fishing supply store,
Right.
wherever was close by, and he got into it. But he really wanted more, and so that's how the story continues to progress. Because he just becomes obsessed with these things. He had no interest in fishing,
Not at all.
solely to
Just making
tie
it, which
these
is
flies.
weird. A lot of these
I know.
fly tires. That's what don't fish at all.
Yeah.
At all. They just
To
make
me,
these
that is
flies.
strange. I could see doing both, but to not fish and be that obsessed with these lures.
But I mean, if you're doing that and you're making that much fucking money and you're good at it, why wouldn't you?
It's like them
True.
motherfuckers fucking trick out old muscle cars or make fucking badass cars, but never drive them. They fucking
Right.
just make
True.
them badass and sell them.
sell
It
them
is,
or
yeah.
just keep it to have
It
it.
is strange. Though.
Yeah, so it's just interesting, the whole Feather Underground. It's just it's just the names. It just makes this stuff sound so funny, but it is pretty dark, and it is definitely a world where people are making some jack.
It's
And they're just
it's a
so
bunch of
into-
burly men showing off for each other.
Right? That's what he said. Yeah, the author. They're just super into this art form of making these lures. It just seems really strange that I didn't see any women in any of these stories.
Nah, it's all dudes.
It's all dudes. So it is kind of funny. They say some of these lures could take 15 hours or more.
Yeah.
You're talking about with like a magnifying glass, like some super
Dude,
intense shit.
like tiny
I don't know how
tweezers.
you do that unless you're like baked out of your mind.
You got to be focused, man.
I guess it's just so intense. 15 hours to tie one of these things. Now, when I was a kid, my Uncle George, as I said, made fishing lures, but nothing like these.
These are-
But he was making them out of deer hair, which is cool.
And he was a kid, mind you. He like got
Right.
good at it quick.
Yeah. Edwin and Anton began taking lessons on fly tying. They're getting really good at it, especially Edwin at 15. He is considered by many in that world as the future of fly tying. So
I'd be like, make
And then
some
he
out
get-
of my pubes, bro.
And then where's he go? Where's he go?
He wins his first competition
Yes.
at the Arts of the Angler, Chris.
Yeah, in
Where was-
Danbury, fucking Connecticut.
Hell
man.
yeah.
They said that in the book when
I
I was
know, I was
listening to
losing it.
I gotta rewind that. That's what they said for real. Fuck
I
yeah,
know.
but-
I sent CK a text like, "Dude, you need to confess. You've been going to the Arts of the Angler."
dude.
That
but
was funny.
68 trout lures in an hour.
That's
dude.
insane, dude. Wow.
damn.
68. He breaks a record, wins the competition. Now, the trout lures are a lot smaller and not nearly as intricate as these other ones we're talking about. But, he starts there. He's only 15,
Right.
which is unbelievable.
And these motherfuckers are watching him like, holy shit. He's
He's
calling
got
it
a
the
crowd
future.
watching him.
Yeah.
Also, Anton is winning as well, so they're both killing it. And it would be at these competitions where they would see a display of elaborate Victorian salmon lures that would launch the obsession. The book, The Salmon Fly by George Kelson, featured recipes what
Air
they call
quotes.
right, for these fancy lures. So that's what they call them, or
They're
recipes.
pretty fucking fancy, man.
Now, Joey, what's funny is that the fish, as we talked about, they don't see the colors. They're only, like you said, defending.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're making these elaborate flies is really bordering on absurd.
Yeah. It's strictly for the fly fishing, or not fly fishing, it's
The
for the
art
fly
of it.
tying community.
Right.
It's for them dudes. They don't care about the fishing part of it. They don't care
Yeah.
about the practicality that doesn't have anything to do with what the salmon's actually doing. They're just like, look what I can do.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
Look what I can do. Look what I can do.
I mean, it's pretty intense shit. I guess it kind of on the same way that women could do some badass hair,
Right.
or what I'm saying, any kind of art like that. It's like, what the hell are you doing? But at the same time, like, that shit's fucking.
Yeah, I
it
mean, for
caught
whatever
on.
reason, they're
Yeah.
interested in it.
And
I
now-
guess I shouldn't be so demeaning of it because it is very artistic.
No,
it's
it's
pretty
total
intense.
art form.
But it
Yeah.
is different, and
Right.
it's kind of funny. But
Right.
something else about this art form that we're talking about is that this dates back so long ago.
Right.
And that's why some of these people hold on to it so strongly because
They wanted to keep alive. And
right,
shit.
they're like,
Tradition
this
type thing.
has been around since the fucking Victorian age,
Right.
or whatever,
Right.
And it's like you don't lose this art, and that's another reason why it's like, no, we're not going to sit here and make the same lure with these cheap ass parts. We're
Right.
going to use the best that we can get.
Right.
And some of these people spend hundreds of thousands of dollars over a decade
Yeah.
on feathers.
Right.
Like, wow.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Now, Chris, the guys in the Feather Underground are really into this art form, but it is amazing how they would watch the top people in the field tie lures
Dude.
at these events and totally geek out on that shit,
I've never got around to it, but I'm still going to do it. But I wanted to fucking find a video of some being done.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
I just never got. I know I'm 100% sure there are. But I kind of think about it. If you're at a fucking show and shit, and you fucking play bass, and one of your fucking favorite bass players ever, you're standing right there.
Oh,
watching.
yeah.
I mean, think
It'd be
about
badass,
that
yeah.
way or whatever.
Right.
Or some shit like
No,
that.
that's
So-
true. People go to guitar clinics and watch musicians play.
Right.
And
I mean,
yeah,
exactly.
that's the
just
same
like
type
that.
of thing for sure. That's a good point. Or
Yeah.
painters, you go to some of these shows, or people do that Merlot and a masterpiece,
Yeah, and they
where
got
you
a
buy wine and
famous
they teach you how
painter.
to
Yeah,
paint
exactly.
a
I mean,
painting.
think
you know.
about it. It's-
People are just into that kind of
And
stuff.
what's the exact same thing, but I just can't get it, is that these kids will sit there and watch fucking other people play video games for
Yeah,
hours.
That
I know.
I don't
That's
get.
weird.
But it's the same kind of thing
Yeah, it kind
Sure.
of is.
to them, but yeah, I
It
don't
kinda
get it.
Unless
Like,
they're there to learn how to do it, which
yeah.
is very possible.
It's like what'd you do? You spend 2 hours watching somebody else play a video. Like,
Right.
was that fun?
I don't even like sitting there watching when it's live and I'm at their house.
So the Rist brothers met an icon in the industry, Muzzy Muzzerl.
I love that name, bro.
Muzzy. He lives in Maine. He had his lures featured multiple times on Fly Tire magazine. Their dad sets him up with flying lessons on fly tying with the
Flying,
intricate.
tying, riding guy.
Oh my God, the rhyming words. The Victorian salmon lures with Muzzy. So he's going to pay for these lessons. Got to be pretty expensive, I would think.
I mean, what?
And he's in Maine, so he's got to drive from New York to Maine.
All
That's
these fucking all these fucking people with money or whatever we're talking about right now, they name their kids some weird shit.
That's true. Yeah, Muzzy.
Every one of these names, I'm like, what the fuck?
So Muzzy gives Edwin an envelope with some of these very rare illegal feathers and told him to hold on to them until he was ready to use the real thing. And that would give him that bug, Joey, that possessed these rare feathers. He was like determined to get good enough that he could use the feathers that Muzzy gave him. So really into that shit. And of course, this is at a time when the internet is starting to be a thing. So now you can get on there and Google some shit or Yahoo or whatever people were doing back in the day. You know, most people, especially somebody like him that's coming from money, I'm sure they had computers pretty early on. Edwin would connect with others obsessed with fly tying in this Victorian style. And there are websites, again, I'm not going to mention them. They seem to want to distance themselves from this, and I guess I don't blame them. But there are websites out there that still do today, specialize in this. They got message boards and people trade stuff, but, you know, it's supposed to be on the up and up, and I'm not going to say it's not. I don't know anything about it, but they exist. Edwin was also going to New York City for flute lessons. He's becoming a virtuoso, so he's incredibly talented. Both him and his brother. The father begins to raise and breed Australian Labradoodles and was making a nice income from
those
it.
things weren't fucking cheap even then, dude.
No, I'm sure they weren't.
Hypoallergenic.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, 'cause they don't. People with the allergies, obviously, that's
okay.
what that means. But,
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. 2005, Edwin and Anton were both, you know, being discussed regularly on these websites and the fly tying magazines as being the best young tyers out there. In 2007, Edwin is accepted, though, into London's Royal Academy of Music, which is a big fucking deal. And at 13, brother Anton is already taking community college classes.
That's what I'm saying. These are some smart.
I know, like, what the
kids.
fuck are
You
you
make the
jacking around with these
decision.
feathers, man? Wow. He was looking to go to Juilliard for clarinet. So
At 13.
Yeah, it's fucking insane. Both of these kids were fucking smart. It's just such a damn shame that they ended up doing some dumb shit. Mostly Edwin, of course.
Yeah, I don't even think anything.
Yeah, I don't think Anton did anything wrong. He was just kind of lumped in with it. Now, Joey, as Edwin moves to England to go to this music school, both the brothers seem to chill a little bit on the fly tying and seem, at least in the short term, to focus on music. But Edwin just can't seem to quite get away from it.
No, and I mean, I think that it was imprinted in him a little bit earlier on, like whenever he got that envelope from Muzzy, the value of those feathers. And, you know, as he's growing up, you wonder what could make somebody as smart as him do something so stupid. And it's usually that answer is fucking a woman or it's money. And fucking money is definitely you start seeing dollar signs, you're like, start adding up in your head, like, holy fuck, this is worth this. You know what you can sell them feathers for in that community, especially if you're in it like they are. Right. It's like, holy fuck, this is like a bank robbery that he's
basically,
about to
right? Yeah, basically that's what it is.
You just got to move the product,
right?
And it's kind of.
And how many bank jobs go for $1 million? I mean, that's a lot of jack in one fucking heist. I mean,
and it's only one
crazy.
Suitcase,
right? I mean, what if he would have had 2 or 3 people with him? Man, they could have cleaned that fucking joint out. You know,
that's convenient.
Yeah. So it was while Edwin was in London that he heard about this museum in Tring, the British Museum of Natural History. The birds were removed or put there during World War II as the Germans attacked London from the sky, bombing the city. They were afraid the collection would be lost, so they get them there.
Dude, they protected it from so much shit, like just normal fucking bugs getting into them or any kind of shit like that. And they protected them from the fucking wars.
Right.
And this motherfucker uses a rock.
Yeah. I know. That's what's so fucked up. And as we said, they had 750,000 specimens there. The problem was that the skins were kept away from the casual visitor to the museum. So, of course, Edwin wants to see them. He comes up with this scheme. Pretty simple, but, you know, smart.
Worked.
He calls the museum and tells them he has a friend who's supposed to be writing a school paper on the museum. And he's a photographer, and he had said he would help his friend out if he could, you know, take some pictures for him. And the museum's like, sure. So he shows up and he gets full access. They take him in the back.
Come on, take some pictures. And they leave him there by himself, too.
Yeah, so he's looking around, and Chris, he gets some ideas in his head.
Yeah, he's like,
sees that window, like,
takes
there's
pictures of the window.
Fence out
and he's
there.
taking pictures of the birds, too, but he's also taking not just the window, other like exits
Right.
and doors, and taking pictures of where each drawer or whatever that type of bird is in, too.
Right.
So he's got pictures of all that he's taken. He's planning that shit out already, man.
Yeah, it's pretty fucked up, you know, because he would definitely, you know, have, you know, a plan in mind, and he winds up, you know, just doing some awful shit, as we said. I mean, he goes in there and he does some stuff that some people would just say was just a total travesty to the fucking scientific community, just totally dissing, you know, what these people had worked so hard for. Like you said, they're attacking, you know, saving them from fucking bombs in a war, and they're going through all this shit, and he goes in there and steals them, you know. So that's what he does. He goes in there and cases the place out, taking pictures, and Chrissy would, you know, plan out this heist for over a year. And he would even name a file on his computer.
Because that's smart.
Plan for museum invasion.doc. I mean, if I wrote that in a script, you would laugh at me. You know what I mean? That's so
like,
ridiculous. Why would you do that?
It's like Raider, hey, if I send you this floppy disk, you going to find anything?
Right, right. Can you trace that? Yeah, I mean, what a dumbass. As smart as he is, I mean, talk about just doing something so stupid. Now, June 24, 2009, Edwin grabs a large suitcase, a glass cutter, and some gloves and breaks into the museum. So a year later, he does this. So this is well planned out.
Yeah, he's been working on it for a minute.
Yeah. He went over a fence to gain access to the window, but he dropped the glass cutter. And so he loses the glass cutter. So he busts the window out and gets inside. But I'm thinking him in a suitcase would have had to be a pretty decent sized window to be busting out. Right?
And the fact that there's no like...
He did cut himself a little bit on the glass, which they found the blood.
No, I'm just saying there's no alarm. I mean, there is an alarm going off, but it's not a loud alarm. You would think like, brr, brr, there's nothing.
You would think, yeah, or video. There was not even video there, which is unbelievable. We're going to get to that, but I mean, that's just fucked up. You know, he just totally, he had to time it with the security. That's the only thing I do remember about. He somehow picked up on or found out about how the security guards operated and how much time he thought he would have alone in that area based on where they would be at what time. So he gets his hand cut though, but he does get inside, but he's lost the glass cutter. So that's out there. He starts filling the suitcase up with as many of the birds of paradise and others that the fly tires liked. I saw that he could have taken much rarer and expensive birds, and they even had a skeleton of a dodo bird worth millions there.
No, he just wanted them for the flies, though.
He was mainly there
specifically for those birds.
Right. That's what he was there for, not so much the money.
You get the dodo bird, but it's like, who the fuck do I sell this
to
to get the millions?
Yeah,
but
or you can't display it.
Right,
you know?
But the feathers, he already has a fucking community that he can fucking
It's like,
sell
I got
to.
this, yeah.
Right, that's true. That's true. But he was definitely all about it. He managed to stuff 299 bird skins in the suitcase, which we said was worth $1 million on the street. There's no video, as we said, as you pointed out, Chris, no whoop, whoop, alarms going off. He just breaks a window and busts in. He manages to get out the window with the suitcase over the fence, but he fucked up, though. He missed the bus.
Oh yeah, and he had to sit there and wait
till 4 a.m. till the next bus
with a
came
bag
in.
full of stolen fucking.
Right.
But see, nobody ever fucking checked there because
They didn't realize it till the next day. I think they saw the broken
guards
glass.
saw the glass.
Yeah.
And then fucking. They didn't check any of the birds. They checked everything else.
Right.
They even checked the computers and everything in the goddamn
Yeah,
whole museum.
it
But did
apparently
not check
didn't
the
steal.
birds, dude.
But with
because-
750,000, how the hell would you know that 300 of them were gone, right?
And that was probably
Quickly.
why there was no video too, because they were just like,
Who
never
would
in
steal
their,
it?
yeah, who's gonna steal these dead bird carcasses?
Yeah.
But you know, the author points out in that documentary that there's multiple cases of this since this.
He said
there's
there
one
was
that was
five. He said there
evolved-
were 4 and one that was happening.
happening like now,
What?
but that's now is when he did
Yeah.
that. I don't know when that was
I mean,
recorded.
obviously, these people are, probably by this point in the present, maybe a little
Smaller
about
scale.
that stuff. But yeah, there
That's
were
fucked
multiple fucking
Yeah.
break-ins for these feathers.
Yeah, so this fucking fool set a little trend going, I guess. But he has to wait there till 4 a.m. to get on the next train, but nobody knows a thing. And, they didn't see the window until the next morning. And so they do eventually find the glass
Yeah.
cutter, but that doesn't get them much.
And didn't they fucking?
They do
say
look at the blood, but that didn't tell them anything.
Didn't they say the last time they got inventoried had been like a decade or some shit?
They thought that, but the book kind of goes back and forth
Yeah,
with
that's
it
what I
that
thought.
maybe there was a better inventory, but a lot of the guys in the fly tying community, that's one of their points is they didn't even know how many they had. Like, how do we know he stole 300? Maybe it was
Right.
30, you know?
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that. And I think that, the author does a pretty good job showing both sides. But really, how do you know, for sure? But there were definitely opposing ends of that argument made about the museum and their effectiveness of inventorying this stuff.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know if like just the average person would ever even know. Or does the museum sit there and they're like, okay, these are valuable birds because of the research and everything else they possess. Monetarily, do they possess a value to the people in the museum, and they're like, maybe not. They have no idea that there's this fucking community out there, or did they know?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's what's so weird, because
Sure.
like you ain't got no security or perimeter set in this area and you don't check once you find out something's broke to even know that these are gone right away.
Right.
So they don't seem that important, but at the same time, this other Joe Schmo over here is like, oh no, that bird right there is worth $250,000.
Right.
And I don't know, it's strange. Like you would figure that somebody in the curation of that place would have been.
You would think. You really would, especially what that collection had
Yeah.
been through to fucking get there.
to that point
on
yeah.
the Amazon
Yeah.
boat to the fucking museum #1, and then they're going to get bombed by Germany, and they fucking scoot the shit out, to another location where they thought they would be safe. I mean, it's pretty fucked up. So, Joey, it is pretty ballsy for Edwin to do what he did, is
Yeah.
the way he did it, but he was very lucky, I think, that he got away. I think he could have very easily got caught.
Yeah, but I mean, he had, like you said, a year's opportunity to case the place, pictures, and who knows how many times he visited it.
That's true, just as a patron to see the security.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a good point.
and it shows that, okay, you lose your glass cutter. You're not in the place yet, so you're over the fence, but you haven't broken and entered.
You could stop.
You could stop, but you're like, no, I'm already at this point. I'm getting in that motherfucker, and you bust the window out anyhow,
Right.
leaving your DNA. I mean, this is 2009. DNA was known about then,
Right, right.
So
I mean, if he'd have used the glass cutter, they might not have ever known he was ever in there.
yeah,
I mean, honestly.
I don't
I
know.
mean, his name was on the record as being there, like all the shit on the internet.
Right,
with
but they wouldn't have known the birds were, maybe they
Oh,
wouldn't
yeah.
have known the birds were even gone.
When was the next time they would ever have had a
Right.
look at them?
I mean,
Right.
it's hard to say. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
very interesting argument, though,
But it comes down to, and it seems like this dude has such a narcissistic attitude.
Yeah.
He seems to think that he is above some shit and
Yep.
can get away with that shit, and that's how it goes. Like, I'll leave my blood here. I'll do whatever, because I'm getting these birds. And I'm gonna go make some money, and He kind of did.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, it shows you how much they actually looked at those birds too, because it was like 13 months later
Yeah.
before he even
Right.
got, like, they had no idea they were gone until like
Right.
13 months after
Exactly. Yeah.
Fucking-
It's fucked up.
that went down.
Yeah. So Edwin goes about taking the feathers off the skins and selling them on eBay and other websites. There were some he sold with the skins and all.
Right, the whole thing.
There were people from all over the world. I mean, people are taking planes to England to buy these damn things. He doesn't seem to be very careful about what he's doing. And even after the museum realizes it, like you said, Chris, 13 months later, the cops are involved. He continues to sell them and doesn't even seem to care. And the other people buying them don't seem to really care. I know Edwin said something about they just knew better to ask questions of where a 20-year-old was finding
That's
$1
the
million
fact. Yeah, that's the
of
thing. He
bird
was 20
feathers.
years old when he fucking
Right.
did this shit too.
Right.
That's the thing. 20.
Right.
He's
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's pretty fucked up. But he said they knew not to ask. So they got it. They knew what was going on. They were so obsessed with the opportunity to get these feathers, which Edwin would claim were from a private collection for someone he was trying to help out by selling them. That's what he was telling people, I guess. He was also placing large orders online for Ziploc bags so he could sell them, not being careful that somebody's going to maybe put this together.
dude, the fucking glass cutter he got off fucking like eBay or whatever too.
Right.
Because it was on his fucking list of shit that he got.
Right. Yeah. Along with that file that says plan to invade the museum.
Yeah.
.doc. For God's sakes. The police did notify the airport to be on the lookout for these rare feathers if anybody was trying to board a plane, but nothing showed up there. So
you
they
ever
were
seen-
kind of looking.
You ever seen that shit like motherfuckers that get busted smuggling fucking animals and shit? Like I've seen some dude had like fucking 40 birds in his pants or some shit.
I've seen some weird. I've seen weird shit like that, dude.
Like what the?
They got him like I have seen some weird
like
shit like that.
snakes and fucking shit.
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that.
I'm sure. Yeah. That's fucked up.
That'd be crazy. You're on a plane. You don't even know this dude's got 30 snakes wrapped around his legs. or
Right.
something.
Like,
Yeah, that would be a little
shit.
crazy. It wouldn't be, like we said, a year or so after that a private investigator who's on vacation attends a fly tire convention somewhere in Europe, I can't remember where it was, and observes someone with a vast collection of rare feathers that he remembered hearing about that were stolen in a museum heist in London. So it kind of put two and two together.
Yeah, he has somewhere to get them from. Oh, it's fucking Edwin Rist, dude. Fucking
Yeah, just like some guy from England named Edwin Rist. He just came right out and told him. So the investigator's like, huh.
me
So
check
he
this
calls
out.
the cops in London and he's like, hey, do you know about this museum heist? And there's a guy, and they gives him his name. And of course, the museum knows that name since he was on the list for being at the museum when he was there with the camera. So they definitely know that name. So, Chris, the cops do a little raid on the apartment, find a few things.
Yeah, I mean, it didn't help that he was selling them online and he was in that community because once they heard that name and because they did find out that people craved these feathers for that. And when
Right.
they saw his name, saw his list on the fucking people that visited the museum. They're like, yeah, this has got to be our guy. So they go in, then they find fucking everything, dude. Like
Yeah.
he just straight gives himself
He
up.
told them,
But,
yeah.
when the cops get there, she's like, yeah, you know about the heist at the museum. He's like, yep, it was me. Pointing him right to a box fucking
Yep.
full of everything. Some of them are untagged. Some of them, they did get some back that still had the tags. So,
Right.
But he
A
gave
lot
him,
of them were kind of ruined. And then the ones that were sold,
right.
they tried to get some back, but I think only a few. There weren't too many
There weren't
that
too
were
many
coming
that
back.
coming back. Some people just sent them in on their own, but
Right.
yeah, he just gave himself up right away. He's like, yeah, fuck, give up, not making flies no more, going to prison.
Right. Well, he told them that he was selling the birds to raise money for the gold flute that he wanted when he graduated the music school in London when he took his first job. So how nice. In the book, it's believed that one would cost $10,000. The platinum version, though, the high dollar one, 20 grand. So that, Chris, is something you can, hope to achieve one day.
I got it.
Have a
dude.
platinum flute
I
at
got
the
it.
Nation. Shawback Tull.
Shawback toll. The fuck?
Jethro Shawback. Not sure
That sounds
that's
plausible.
better. That's better.
That sounds plausible.
That's better. Not sure if he ever bought the flute, though. I never saw that. It's not in any of the videos that I've seen, at least.
No.
Of course, the news of this spreads quickly through the fly tying community, and most of them do their best to keep their distance. They want nothing to do with this. I did reach out, as I said, but could not find anybody to even answer me. His brother Anton was obviously devastated, as well as the rest of his family. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Dude, look at the book that said that when he found out that fucking Edwin did it, he like started crying, like what? Because he had told him, "Hey, did you hear about the fucking the feather heist and the thing?" And his brother got on the news like, "Oh shit." Like, and he started crying once he found out it was actually him too. So
yeah, that's fucked up, man. So the family's all tore up. Now, as if this story wasn't getting any stranger.
yeah, this is the fun part.
His lawyers, though, are smart, and they had him seen by Dr. Simon Baron Cohen. If that name sounds familiar, it should. A renowned British psychiatrist. So this is a real story. But before you ask, he is related. He's the cousin
of Sasha.
of Sacha Baron Cohen, the actor, comedian. So how crazy is that?
The McGean.
McGean.
So the doctor that's making the call in this very important case of the feather thief is Dr. Simon Baron Cohen. All right.
That's fucking great. Dude, I'm listening to that shit. I'm like, wait,
so
what the
great.
fuck?
When I read that, I'm like, there's no way. And then the next sentence, I'm like, oh my God, it was relation to him. Dr. Cohen diagnoses Edward with Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of autism that causes the patient to be socially awkward and to experience difficulty communicating. So they have some issues, of course. And, you know, I've known a couple of people with that. Very high functioning like Edwin. Some claim, though, that Edwin manipulated the doctor into that diagnosis since he was able to research it. We know he's a smart guy, so I don't think that that's out of the realm of possibility. You know?
Fucking, in the book, the author, when he's interviewing fucking Edwin, he's talking about that, the Asperger's thing.
Right.
And he said he had no problems ever looking people in the eye, but once Barry Cohen said he fucking took those tales of Asperger's and just straight used them with it. Stop looking people in the eye, he'd like fidget and all kinds of shit. He did that on purpose.
He's a smart dude.
Yeah,
you know, just like Edwin Kemper,
purpose.
You know, fooled the psychiatrist. Yeah. I think, you know, not to equate Edwin Rist with Edwin Kemper, but the same basic getting one over, a smart, intelligent person like that, Joey, being able to get over on the psychiatrist.
But maybe the psychiatrist, you don't have to do much to get over him, because somehow we were talking about Dee Dee Blanchard getting her fucking daughter diagnosed with all kinds of serious shit and getting operations, and it happened. So I wouldn't consider her too much of a genius, but if she could do it, these guys can manipulate.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point, man. Now, some say he wasn't really autistic at all. If he's able to perform at these fly tying conventions in front of crowds as a musician in large venues playing in a fucking symphony, doesn't seem to be the type of thing that a person with, you know, autism that's affected by being in social situations is going to be able to do that, you know. Plus, he's, you know, all over YouTube playing flute on video. He's not apparently shy about performing in front of people musically or with the fly tying. So the doctor did say that the way he excelled at very tedious tasks like fly tying or playing his flute, the way he did show signs of Asperger's. So I don't know. The author did seem to believe it was bullshit since he got the chance to meet with him, as you said, Chris, which we're going to get into. But November 2010, Edwin pleads guilty in exchange for a minor punishment. He's allowed to graduate from that school.
A minor punishment.
Yeah, $1 million. So he's got that part of his life in order. He's graduated this prestigious school. He's going to try out for the orchestra in Germany. But Joey, what do you think about that? Do you think that the Asperger thing was a complete fabrication, or did maybe he have some of that and the doctor is evaluating him correctly.
I mean, maybe he does have a touch of it. I don't know. But one thing they did say is that generally people with Asperger's have a heightened sense of right and wrong. And if that's the case, then, why should somebody cut him some slack? When he definitely knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing was a criminal act. I don't know. It makes it seem like, his status and his money helped him through a lot of stuff.
Through a lot of shit.
He kind of figured that was going to happen. So to get a slap on the wrist is just pretty much.
He didn't even get a slap on the wrist, dude.
Yeah.
He didn't spend one fucking time behind
it's
bars.
fucking
He got, what
bullshit,
was
man.
it, like 15 months, but like not already fucking served. But he didn't spend not one fucking night in jail for that shit.
Yeah, and it's all because of this. He's got Asperger's syndrome.
Because there was that other case, fucking.
Yeah.
But if you have a heightened sense of right and wrong, like they said.
Right. You would think he would have known that he was doing something wrong.
You know even better.
Yeah, he was wearing gloves. That just tells you that he knew he was doing something wrong.
He had a window cutter.
Right.
And he's got documents.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Word files. Personally, I feel it's bullshit for sure. I think he manipulated the system and used it as an excuse to have the judge be lenient. Very smart because, as you pointed out, Chris, there was a previous case where this was used. He waived a jury trial, so the judge alone made the call to give him a year's suspended sentence.
That's what it was.
Which means he doesn't get shit. And the major reason, of course, the Asperger's defense. So
Asperger.
He had also no prior criminal record, and he was a graduate of this very prestigious
Fucking white
school,
privilege, dude.
which helped him. Yeah. So the author of The Feather Thief, Kirk Wallace Johnson, seems to think he, the court downplayed the long process of planning that went into this, made it seem more if it was like a rash, sudden thing where he really did spend a solid year pictures and all this stuff on the computer, buying the Ziplocs in advance. I mean, he knows he's going to be doing this.
And, yeah, and the defense is coming at it like, oh, it just became an obsession of these feathers.
Right.
It wasn't for monetary reasons or anything. Meanwhile, he's posting, hey, I need to buy a new flute.
Right.
Fucking, his parents are hurting for money.
Yeah, they got wiped out in the recession in 2008.
Yeah, so his parents are hurting for money too. So he's sending his parents money and all that shit. But they're saying, no, it wasn't for monetary gain. It's just obsession with this art and these feathers, which is bullshit.
Yeah, I think so too. And if you think about how much time you would get for stealing $1 million of, let's say, jewels or anything for that matter.
It's $1 million.
Yeah, $1 million in cash. You'd be looking at serious fucking prison time.
Not to mention you broke into a fucking
museum.
Right.
Like,
yeah, breaking and entering. I mean, you'd get something for that.
That's not you just broke into somebody's house like a
right.
thief.
No, that's
you
true.
Fucking broke into
a
some
national
artifact.
museum. Yeah. I'm not sure how the British system works, though. And I know our system isn't the best either. But this just seems fucked up. The museum seemed more willing to get this off the front pages of the newspapers and okay with them only getting, 100 of the 299 skins back. Some they got back, as I said, had the tags removed, which is a vital part of it.
Yeah, because now they don't know where it came from, when it was from, all that.
Yeah.
So it's no longer scientifically relevant.
Right, exactly. And so he sold some of these complete skins as well as the feathers on their own. They believe he may have sold $200,000 or more, but no one really knows but Edwin. I mean, that's the thing.
Yeah.
He used multiple eBay accounts, but some had flute in the name, so he wasn't even that smart about trying to downplay
like
who he was.
Flute player or 88 or
it was something
like that.
Like, duh, like how many people that are into this also play the flute? Like, how many more finite little weird idiosyncrasies are you going to find? So really, really fucked up. And he's, become kind of a celebrity among them. I mean, he really is among this tight crowd of people that are super into this shit. Now, Joey, the author, really takes it upon himself to go on a hunt for these lost skins. And he starts talking to the fly tying community, but they're not too receptive. You were talking about this earlier.
Yeah. Yeah, they were saying how they were tight knit and, Basically,
He doesn't
they
want
do
to
what
piss
they
him
do.
off.
They don't want fucking the bad publicity. They don't want anything fucking coming out of it.
Right.
Basically, this isn't your fucking turf local. Get the fuck out of here.
Right. Totally. He does locate one of the guys that was super into that scene that's based in Canada, but he won't talk to him. None of them will. There is a guy who some believe was part of it, and that Edward did. There were some people that believe someone was involved with Edwin, that he wasn't alone. The author locates the guy who they think was involved with it, at least at first.
Talking about Goku.
His name was Long Nguyen.
Yeah, Goku.
Living in Norway. So he's a Vietnamese dude living in Norway. He spends 3 days there talking with him, and he understands the whole thing. He's trying to understand it. At first, he thought that this guy was the brains, but as they met for over those 3 days, he told the author that he was really looked up to Edwin and was like honored that he would ask him to be involved. And he did sell some of them. There were some that he got from Edwin, and those were the ones he showed him in the scrapbook. And the author urged him to send them back, which apparently took a while, but eventually the book ends with that scrapbook being sent to him from Norway, or
Right.
to the museum from Norway, which of course was the same scrapbook. So he did eventually turn him in, which is, exactly what he wanted. But the thing is, the reason why these guys didn't want to turn him in is because they knew they were just going to get thrown in a drawer somewhere because they didn't have the tags on them.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of the people that were like pissed off that those birds are just in the
Right.
drawer. And like
They're like a waste.
yeah, and one of Edwin's like defenses for himself was, well, I saved 299 birds from getting
Right.
killed.
Because
It's
of
like, well,
These
not
birds are
really.
extinct.
Yeah, some of
this
these
is
are
a little
extinct.
different. Yeah, than a couple of pigeons getting shot. That's a little different. Though the guy in Norway, Long Nguyen, the author locates Edwin. So through him, he gets a hold of Edwin living in Germany. He agrees to urge Edward to talk with him. And so that's cool that Long Nguyen was able to get Edwin to reach out.
because he's long-winded.
Apparently.
And this is basically like the only person that he ever talked to
Right.
about it.
Right.
Dude,
So he
like-
helps the author get the meeting with Edwin. And that's the whole, as the book is wrapping up, that's like the thing. He's going to talk to Edwin finally.
Right, I'm in the middle of that whole part. That's where I had to stop.
Oh,
with
okay.
that. But that long wind dude, he realized through the author, I can't even remember the author's name. He realized through his research that Long Wind was the same guy that was going as Goku, like for real,
Right.
selling the feathers and shit.
Right.
So that's the same dude. So like he was helping Edwin out at the same time, like selling that shit.
He was. Yeah, it's Kirk Wallace Johnson
Kirk
is the
Wallace,
author.
that's right. Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's a very, very interesting story. But the Vietnamese dude does, try to help out, and they connect. I tried to find, a way to get a hold of him or message him, and there's no option that I could find for it. The author winds up hiring the German bodyguard. Did you get to that part
Yeah,
yet,
I
Chris?
did. Yeah.
Because he doesn't really know what's going to happen.
He's
I mean,
because
he's
his
like,
wife
Edwin-
asked him, was like, "What are you gonna do about security?" He's like, "Never really thought about that.
Yeah.
I've never met this dude. Don't
Right.
even know. No, fuck. All right.
Not
So
to mention
yeah,
he already has been threatened by the fly tie.
Feather Underground.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
Feather Underground.
So you never know.
He
He
fucking
could
gets
show
his
up
German
with a fucking
bodyguard
gun.
fucking hiding out in the corner. He's like, I got this walkie. If I squawk it, fucking.
Some big fucking burly motherfucker,
fuck.
So, but the author is very impressed when he meets Edwin, how composed he is. He's very personable. Certainly not even showing an inkling of having Asperger's syndrome where he can't make eye contact and is awkward in a social situation. This was the opposite of that. He was incredibly put together. He had good answers for every fucking question he asked him. He was hoping to maybe have him confess that there's some hidden cachet of,
right.
feather
I'm
somewhere.
sitting on these that Edwin, he never does. or
Nothing.
yeah.
And Long Nguyen also was thought of to maybe have some, and all he had was apparently that scrapbook. So he never really admits to anything. I mean, that's, unfortunately, the way that interview sequence ends is he spends a lot of time talking to him, but he doesn't really get any answers of things
About
he
it.
already did. He didn't already know. So Edwin is very slick, very good to just, and he knew that when Edwin walked out of that room, that would be the last time he would see him, because he was like, "Hey, can I get a hold of you?" Oh yeah, that's fine. And he never.
Like, nope.
He's done.
I'm
so
out.
he knows, because he doesn't want this book to come out, which I'm sure pissed him off. Just because the whole name of the feather thief, he definitely didn't want to be known as a thief.
It was funny in that PBS one that we were talking about.
Right.
When he's talking about Edwin, I heard him say Edwin's name one time. Every
Keep
other
calling
time
him the
he calls
feather
him
thief.
the feather thief.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yeah, I think he
See, I
does
didn't
it
see
to
that. That's
jab
hilarious.
him a little bit.
Absolutely, and also pretty good way to market your book, because it's
Oh,
called
yeah.
definitely.
Of course.
But
great.
no, I think just like you said, it's just like little fucking thrusts at fucking Edwin.
Yeah.
Feather thief.
He's like, fuck you.
So, Joey, I don't know, what do you think if Longwin had said, that he didn't have anything beyond the scrapbook, or do you think maybe he might have had a stash of these nearly 200 skins that are missing?
I'm gonna tell you what, if somebody's got something that's valuable like that, they didn't flush it down the toilet. They didn't fucking throw it in the trash.
Right.
Right.
Either they were fucking sold already, or somebody's sitting on them,
Who ain't going to say shit.
yeah, or slowly fucking leaking them.
Oh,
out
I have
to
no doubts there's
collectors.
some of them fucking still on the market
Yeah,
right now that nobody
those
knows.
feathers did not go to waste. Somebody fucking ended up with them, or
Yeah.
has them.
That's very possible. For all we know, Edwin could be tying flies
That's
in
true.
Germany and
Yeah.
just keeping it quiet.
Jacking off and flying ties.
I guess.
Flying
That could be
ties.
dangerous. That could be dangerous. Chris, we had a big laugh about the page a day saying he moved to Germany to make heavy metal flute videos, but what do you think about his version of Master of Puppets, man?
Like I said at the beginning when we played that shit, that's fucking talent, dude.
yeah,
I mean,
he's got like multiple harmonies going on there. It's badass.
It's pretty fucking talented. I mean, I've seen the same shit with like cellos and like Tool songs
Right,
and shit, which is
right.
fucking badass.
Oh, yeah.
But I mean,
A flute.
that
yeah.
flute shit, that flute game, man. I don't know.
He does the guitar solo too with the
Right.
flute, which is pretty wild, man.
He fucking give fucking Anchorman a fucking run for his money,
Nice.
dude. Ron Burgundy, come with it.
Now, I looked up Anton on the internet and I found someone by that name living in Germany. So I wonder if that is really him. And if he plays maybe with his brother in that same orchestra. It's hard to say, but I would be surprised. I really wouldn't. To me, the dude got away with it. He
Yeah,
was
he
ordered, to pay back what he raised in selling the feathers, but I don't know if that ever happened because
Right.
he's in Germany, so I don't know if they could even make him do it. Maybe he already paid it. I have no idea. I'm just saying I don't know, but it
No,
seems to me he
they
got
said-
away with it.
They said that in the book, they said that he already had like a certain amount of money that they basically took, but they also didn't want to take away his fucking flute,
Right.
Because he was still fucking, because that was his thing, because part of the Asperger's thing,
Right.
fucking. But then he had a time to where he had to get it paid by, and if he didn't get it paid, it was whatever.
Oh, right.
And so it's fucked up, dude. He probably didn't pay it all, and they let him keep his flute, and he didn't go to jail.
Right.
Jesus Christ, man.
I know, but the burning question though is, did he get the golden flute? We don't know. Maybe
Dude,
he got the
I don't know.
platinum. I don't know.
Just saying, if I walk into a fucking gas station and I steal a goddamn pack of gum right now, I'm probably going to do like fucking a couple weekends.
Right. Right. Yeah, not a year suspended sentence.
Right. Yeah.
The museum did install cameras after the incident, and in 2011, some douchebag stole a very rare white rhino horn.
That
The
wasn't
one-
real.
Well, the one that's there now isn't real because it was stolen. I'm pretty sure
I thought
that
they said that the dude broke in there and he fucking took a chunk of fucking basically plaster.
Oh,
'cause
okay.
they took
Well,
him
maybe
off
that was
already.
another one. I thought that there was a real one, and that's why they put a fake one there. now.
Right, and they got a plaque there that straight says this is
Right.
not real rhino horn.
Right.
Because motherfuckers breaking in trying to steal a rhino horn.
Dumbass, yeah.
God damn it.
Oh man, and like we were talking, the author says there's 5 different cases after this of these rare fly tying feathers being stolen from museums. I'd like to know more on that. That would be funny. I wish he would have done the interview with us.
Right.
That would have been a great question. And then I did read one story, though, where a guy stole millions of dollars of these rare paintings. And he was staying in his mom's attic, and she didn't know he was up there with his girlfriend. So that's real classy.
How the fuck does his mom not know?
I don't know. So they're living in the attic of his mom's house, and they don't know it, or the mother doesn't know it. And on the walls of the attic are these fucking millions of dollars of these rare paintings.
What the fuck?
And they wind up busting him, and the mother finds out about it, and she takes the paintings and puts them out and fucking puts gas on them and lights them on
Oh
fire.
my God, dude.
Yeah, she burned almost all of them. They got a few back, but most of them were burned up. Yeah. It's fucked up. Yeah, it
Holy
might almost be a
shit.
fun like mini episode or something to do about some rare heists.
Wasn't there another one in there? The dude coming in stealing the eggs and shit too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was coming in and out of that fucking place. They were letting him for whatever reason, using some disability or whatever
Right.
to get in and out. And one dude caught him like stuffing these eggs in his pocket. Like,
Wow.
it makes you wonder how easy is this fucking goddamn
Right.
place to break into
Yeah,
and
really.
steal shit.
Yeah, you get
Like,
busted easier
what
at a
the
fucking
fuck?
Phillips 66. You know?
Yeah, right.
So, anything to add to this one, guys? I mean, this has been kind of silly, but
No,
it's
I'm
been
good,
fun
dude. This
though.
is
Not really. The only thing I thought was kind of funny is they were talking about like, after all this fucking came out, there were still motherfuckers that were on those forums and the groups that were like cracking jokes, like posting pictures of museums, like, "Hey, Feather Thief, come get this one for us," or
Right.
you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
That's
right.
funny.
Like, hey, they got a collection,
Yeah.
And as far as I could see, Master of Puppets is the only metal song I find. He does Game of Thrones and the
Yeah.
Hobbit theme, which are the ones that we're going to play tonight. But I'd love to see more of the metal,
metal,
stuff.
yeah.
You know,
Don't-
like did
don't
he do
claim to
like
be a metal
Seasons in the
flautist.
Abyss?
Yeah,
You know,
don't
I mean,
claim
that
to
could
be
be
a metal
badass.
flautist and not do metal.
That's right.
Flautist.
Might be some Butchered at Birth on there or something. That'd be pretty
That'd
fucked
be
up.
fucking cool as shit.
I mentioned my main research was done with that book by Kirk Wallace Johnson, The Feather Thief.
Yes,
It was
sir.
very, very good.
It was
You liked the Audible?
and if
Did
you
he do the Audible or was it somebody
It was
else?
somebody else did that. But if y'all like fucking do Audible, it's actually a decent book to listen to. So
That's
fucking
cool. That's cool. We mentioned that PBS station that does that YouTube video. It's in one of the, if you search Edwin Rist or The Feather Thief, you'll see it in one of the top ones that comes up. And like we said, Edwin did not like being called a thief. So I think that the
But
name
you
of the
stole
book,
shit, motherfucker.
right? The name of the book and the way he keeps saying it, the way he
Yeah.
said it, I agree with you, Joey. I think it's like, fuck you, Edwin. He spent a lot of time trying to get the skins back, the author did. So, I mean, he really did put out
Dude, and
all out.
honestly, so did Edwin's dad too.
Oh, that's true. His
Edwin's
dad
dad
did try
actually
to clear
like
his
he
name.
he tried fucking going back and finding people and buying them back himself, even after he was already in financial fucking
Right.
trouble anyway, and his
Right.
son's stealing this shit now. No, he's still Edwin's dad's like fuck.
Wow. That's
God.
cool. Yeah, I do remember the dad was doing everything he could to clear his son's name, which probably helped some
Right.
with the sentencing, you know. He does, really, driven by the fact that this was part of history and that it was a useful tool for science and that Edwin just pretty much just spit in their face.
Right.
And that's what pisses him off. There were a few podcasts I listened to, a couple of pieces of them that basically just interview him. So I haven't heard anybody do it like us, of course. So I'm glad we did this one right.
Oh, yeah, this
Finally,
is a
the
good
Feather
one.
Thief.
You've been like fuck yeah.
I know, and
fuck
we've
yeah.
got another page a day story coming up here in a couple
We
weeks,
do.
Joey.
And actually, the next one we're really doing because the brutal rewind for next week, we actually did that.
Right.
So we're not doing that live, and then the one after that, we're doing the Patreon Ramirez.
Right.
We're releasing that. So really, the next time we'll be in the studio doing an episode will be another page a day.
That's
and
right.
that's on the San Francisco Witch Killers.
Oh,
Hell
fuck
yeah.
yeah, dude. Fuck yeah.
the
So-
Bears.
Yeah, the Bears. Yeah, that's a
The
crazy
Bears
story.
The Bears.
So yeah, we got a couple of weeks off in here. I've got a work commitment that is not going to work with this. So We're going to use the Brutal Rewind next week, which will be Brutal Rewind number 7 on Ronald DeFeo, the guy who killed his family in the house that would become ground zero for the Amityville horror.
Yes,
and we just did that, as Joey mentioned, and so you'll hear that next week. And Ronald DeFeo died recently, which is why we wanted to do it. So we had already covered that case at our live event with the Dark History Convention, the Guys in Black Crypt podcast in 2019. That episode we released February of 2020. So if you missed it, you can go check it out and Brutal Rewind next week on it. So the week after that, as Joey mentioned, we got our Patreon episode, Richard Ramirez. You guys that are our 666 Club members have already heard this.
So we apologize, nothing fresh for you.
Right. But we wanted to release that to the masses now.
Sometimes
after
life
months
gets
later.
to you.
That's right. So we got a couple of weeks off, but coming back third week of June with the San Francisco Witch Killers. That's going to be sick. Now, Joey, you got some good page a day there for us?
I mean, they fucking, as we
They
just
don't
said,
disappoint.
Yeah, that's 2 episodes in a row you're going to get because of
Fucking
that.
hey.
Right.
Basically, yeah.
So I got a couple stories from that they're talking about. As we know, we got a listener who also has the page today, which is pretty
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah, that is awesome.
All right, so one of the stories page today is talking about was from 1988. After calling the police on himself, this guy, Lee Robin, he's almost catatonic when the police get to him. He leads them to the bodies of his infant daughter, Denise, drowned in the bathroom, and his wife, Annette, who's she's killed with an axe. So he was a doctor living with his family in a suburb of Chicago. He had attempted to kill himself earlier that week. And then, obviously, he didn't, succeed.
Right?
But,
Should have.
yeah. But instead, after that, he realized, hey, if I kill myself, I'm going to leave my daughter and my wife destitute. So instead of that, how about I kill them?
Susan Smith.
Yeah, basically,
Wow.
So the mother and daughter were buried in a single coffin in a nearby cemetery. And after an 8-month delay because of the question of his mental fitness stand trial, he was tried for the murders and found not guilty by reason of insanity. So he ended up in the mental health center where he resided until his release on May 30th, 2001. So that's kind of fucking crazy that he killed his wife and his infant daughter, and he basically only did like 20 years or whatever it was.
No, that's a fucked up story right there.
That is.
dude.
A little
He
bit.
should
And out
still
of
be
Chicago.
in there.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that one's
And
fucked
out of
up.
Chicago, yeah.
Damn.
All right, so that one's fucked up. Now, this one's a good one, too. This one is about the Dozier School for Boys. Now, this is a place in Florida. It closed in 2015, but it was open for more than a century. It has a lot of really dark history to it. A lot of abuse and
I'm
scandal
sure it
and
does.
stuff
Yeah,
like
I
that.
have no doubts.
So there was like a whole bunch of group of these guys, and they were called the White House Boys. And basically, they were there like in the 50s and 60s.
Okay.
And not too long ago, all these guys started coming out, and talking about the abuse that they endured and saw at this place.
Right.
So the White House itself was a small building that sat on the school grounds, and that's where they would take them, and most of the abuse would occur.
Right.
So that's why they called them the White House Boys.
Jesus.
Now, they have about 81 boys that were linked to have died there, but the remains are unknown, and about 138 are unaccounted for altogether.
Oh,
Jesus
wow.
Christ.
Jesus.
I mean, these are just fucking, you know what I'm
That's
saying? All
fucked
these
up.
kids
Yeah,
in America.
And nobody has no
nobody
idea
has
what
any
the
idea.
fuck. Yeah.
So most of these kids were there for committing like petty crimes and shit like that. Basically, like
dime store theft and shit.
yeah.
Fucking.
But some of them there were runaways, and then like just kids who didn't have families or whatnot
Right.
would get put in there or whatnot. So there's one witness who talks about he got woke up at 2:00 a.m. taken to the White House where he was thrown on a bed. His feet were tied, and then they beat him with a leather strap.
Jesus.
He passed out But a boy who was in the room next to him later told him that he counted 135 lashes.
Jesus fucking Christ.
And this is with like,
God damn.
They said this was like a leather strap with like fucking metal studs in it too.
Oh my God.
So they said that, and that's what it basically was like this bed, and they throw you in there and, you know,
Torture.
abuse you. And they said that there were pieces of lip on these beds because the kids that were fucking just biting their fucking...
They bit their own lip off and shit.
just from fucking trying to stifle the fucking screams
God.
and shit. Yeah, that's fucking crazy as
Jesus.
fuck. So, so the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, they interviewed like all these White House boys and, you know, whatever staff that they could still, you know, find from, because like I said, it closed in 2005, so, or 2015. So there were still people, you know, that saw some of it, and they said the abuse was really like heavy even into the 90s or whatnot.
Wow.
So, but they interviewed all these people, but they claimed insufficient evidence to support the allegations. Now, basically what people are saying is that they don't really want to have any kind of factual evidence that would make them have to pay for these crimes that were committed.
Probably.
As the state.
Liability thing, yeah.
They also claim zero evidence of any staff member being responsible for any deaths of the children. Another witness that they were talking to, he says he claimed he saw a boy die in a bathtub after having been beaten so badly that the witness figures he was mauled by the dogs. Now,
Jesus Christ.
God damn.
one of the worst things you could... Now, I'm pretty sure that this guy, too, I can't remember, because I looked up some more stuff about this case. You know,
Right after you saw the page today, he's like,
yeah,
you got to check it out. Yeah, I'm going to do
but,
it. It's fucked up.
This one dude, I think one of them slipped on the diving board or something like that and was like, oh, shit. And that's why they got him and beat him.
Oh,
was
wow.
just for saying that.
Just for saying, like, oh, shit, when he slid.
But they were talking about these the dog boys, and supposedly what these, you know, what went on here. Like if you tried to run from this place, that's like the worst thing you could do to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you fucked
Right.
up if you ran.
Right.
So they got these dog boys, and what they are prisoners from a local prison that's right around there that they would send out with dogs to go fucking find these runaways and shit.
Oh my God.
And I mean, the dogs themselves would fucking maul these kids.
Right.
They said most of the time these fucking dog boys, the prisoners, would fucking sexually abuse them
I'm
when
sure.
they caught them.
I'm sure.
They also said that they would lift the tail of the dog that found the boy, and that boy would have to kiss that dog's anus.
God damn, dude.
Yeah,
Wow.
dude, it's fucking crazy.
That's fucked.
The one that said that, you know, he said that boy that died in the bathtub, he said he also saw another one who died after he was in an industrial sized dryer. They put him in there.
Jesus.
The school records placed 31 of the boys in the school cemetery. There's a cemetery out there, and you know there is a spot for 31 of them. But records show that 50 more of them died with no indication of where they are. So they had these people go out there more recently with, you know, like the machines to find
That
them.
X-ray, ground X-ray
Yeah,
shit,
and
basically.
they were finding shit, and then they were talking about this one.
Jesus.
This one guy wanted to know where his uncle was buried, because the only way you can exhume a body or do anything like that is if the family asks to do it. So even though they find these bodies, they can't do nothing about it because that's a resting place.
Oh wow.
So this one guy, though, he's, you know, looking for his uncle, and he went to him, and he was talking to him like, or I guess the place was still open, and he went there, and he wanted to know where his uncle was buried. And they showed him, but he said it wasn't that main cemetery where those other crosses are. He said it was somewhere else they took him. So he was trying to figure it out, but he
Oh, my
couldn't. He said
God.
it was too confusing.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fucking crazy. And then so another of the White House boys talks how everything was very, very strictly segregated there with the races.
I'm sure.
And especially back then, but, you know, in Florida and also this place being what it was.
Right.
But he said the only time that he ever talked to one of the black boys, they were standing there in one of the buildings that had a putrid smelling smoke coming out of the chimney. And he asked the black kid, he's like, what is that? And he's like, well, you know, they ain't cooking pizza in there. So basically,
Oh my God.
you know, what they kind of think is
They
that
were burning
they
them.
were cremating remains, which would also account
Jesus.
for why a lot of the missing ones that, you
We're
know,
unaccounted for.
right.
Jesus.
So that was the Dozier School for Boys. But
Wow.
as I was looking this
God.
up, I saw another connection
Damn.
to it that I thought was very, very interesting. And that connection is John Paul Paul Knowles, who's known as the Casanova Killer. This guy's tied to 20 deaths in 1974, but he claims 35. 20 deaths in 1974. In that 1 year, they can link him. He went around and just fucking killed. But anyway, he was placed in the Dozier School for Boys at age 8 when he stole a bike, and his father's beatings obviously didn't work anymore.
Jesus.
One of the people he killed was a lady named Alice Cooper too, by the way. But yeah, John Paul Knowles, that motherfucker.
That'd be a good one. Yeah,
but the Dozier School for Boys, so Page a Day again.
Wow,
Dude, yeah,
Page
that's
a
fucking
Day.
intense right there,
Yeah,
bro.
that's
That is
brutal ass
intense.
story.
That'd be a good episode for sure. So, man, just killing with that stuff. All right, well, we've done our fair share of murdering tonight. I hear that music. CK ready to throw down some metal knowledge.
yeah.
So, Joey, tell us what the fuck we need to do.
Let's get our metal on.
Known the world over as the master of metal, the crusher of posers, and murder metal mayhem's knower of all things metal, hailing from Wild Man Street in Danbury, Connecticut, standing at 6 feet of brutal punishing madness, weighing in at 220 pounds of poser pulverization, the one, the only, toughest bastard on the planet, Chris C.K. Kovacs!
Ah, there he is.
What up, CK? The great metal motherfucker
That's
himself.
right.
So,
Over there on Wildman Street, CK, and
Yep.
I know you've been having a heck of a time with chemo and everything you got going on. It's always good to have you here with us, bringing in the metal segment. So,
Second time
Still
we've had to
rolling.
talk. Yeah, second time we had to talk about Danbury, bro.
yeah, we had Danbury in the murder segment, which was fun with Edwin
popular
Rist.
place.
That's right. That's
Did my
right.
fucking package show up to you in Danbury?
No, not yet.
Son of a bitch, here we go.
It's in Poughkeepsie. White Plains. Was it White Plains? Yeah. Fucking White Plains. All
No,
right.
it's held at New Jersey all the time.
Right.
All right. Now, CK, we thought since we're doing this crazy Feather Thief Metal Flute episode, we're not doing a band tonight, but instead you're doing a topic. So what is it that you wanted to talk
we're gonna-
about?
We're gonna do where we all get in and give our opinions and give our insights. Talk about how COVID hurt the metal industry and tours.
Yeah. That's an interesting topic. I've seen some bands now doing shows. Yeah. Joey and Chris were just at a badass show up in Chicago over the weekend. So thankfully it's starting to come back.
It's starting to loosen up, and when this first hit, you don't think about the consequences that it has,
Right.
to the music industry, but
Especially like underground, more underground.
Yeah, the
bands and
underground
shit.
bands really got
Exactly.
fucked because without touring, they can't survive.
I gotta say, like the mid tier and below, all those bands got fucked. Obviously, you got your Judas Priest, you got your Iron Maidens. They're gonna be fine,
Right.
whether they tour or not, or because
Yeah,
they
they've
got
made
fucking
millions.
money.
They're completely
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
But another side of it
Well-
that I've seen is it's like, okay, so a band like me or me and my friends, we could do a house party and,
Right,
do
true.
whatever.
And
Now,
motherfuckers will
Right,
show up to
true.
that shit.
now these other bands, like you're saying, Iron Maiden, all them now, they've got enough money, obviously. They're okay. They can sustain themselves through it.
Right.
The part that I saw that was hurt from the more mainstream areas are my friends that work in the industry as far as riggers and sound.
Right. The fuck.
Oh, sure.
definitely.
Because they definitely lost
Yeah,
their
because-
jobs through all this.
Yeah.
because
That's a good
because
point.
you think of just the bands, but you don't think about
The crew.
the crew or helping
Yeah.
them. They're not making money either. you
Right.
know?
Or the venues themselves that
Yeah.
can't sustain
Exactly.
without any money coming in. How the hell do you
Yeah.
keep
You know-
a place open with
Right.
no money coming in other than bankrolling it
lot-
yourself?
And I was talking to Beth from Arkansas, dude. She works at a venue there, and like, she said that they just recently put on their first show in like 13 or 16 months or some shit like that.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
a lot of venues have been putting on GoFundMe pages and
Right.
sustaining and surviving through that. But people people don't have the money right now that maybe a year ago, because the music industry got shut down and other things did too. So we always push people to buy physical copies of the album or T-shirts or anything, even a button or
Backpatch or
patch,
something.
yeah, to try to get these guys so they have money coming in. I think what it hurt most was the mid-tier bands. Like your
Like,
I gotta say,
Like Exodus or somebody like that. They can't play a house
Exodus.
party show.
Right.
Really, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
and
they
they're
have
out
to
there-
play at a venue, and the venues aren't open. Or now they're starting to open. But yeah, I could see that.
Like Testament, Exodus, they do pretty good, but you got to remember, they're touring like
constantly,
in a year,
yeah.
Constantly.
So they're making money that way, and when they're not touring, a lot of these guys still have day jobs.
Well,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
it's not like they're
Yeah.
they're millionaires. I mean, I'm sure like Testament, Exodus, and bands on that level probably could do okay where if they're not playing for a while, they're all right.
They got
To a degree, though.
Shit,
Like Angela
Yeah.
Sapatrida, Guillermo was like, man, 13 months without working is really starting to hurt. Like I'm really hurting, so I'm
like,
glad
that's supposed to be fucking playing
finally
shows
they
and
could be
shit.
able to play,
Right. So it's scary because when did this happen, in March?
Right.
Yeah,
You didn't think come the end of May that we're just now getting to the point where
We can go see a
we
band.
can go see shows. Obviously, some places have limitations as far as capacity.
Right.
of course, yeah.
Right.
And you got to go and prove that you had a negative test for COVID, but that's no big deal. But at least some bands are starting to tour. I believe Judas Priest is going to tour.
I know
Well, I
FTA's
saw it.
happening as of this moment.
Yep, I saw that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Like I said, Judas Priest is going to be touring. Maiden's doing dates in Europe.
Right.
Uh,
There's that
some of these
Deicide
small-
Cataclysm tour
Yeah.
that was going on.
yep.
That's badass.
You may not have as many people in the venue, depending
Right.
on where you
Sometimes
where you are,
that's
but-
better anyway, dude. I mean, sometimes the less people in there,
It's not quite so cluttered
You're
and
not like
crowded.
fucking
Sardines, yeah.
rubbing sweat.
Well, when
on
you're
you.
older, you don't want to do that. When you're young, you don't give a fuck. But as you get older, you're like,
I
"Yeah,
don't want to do that
fucking-"
no more. I'm just like, oh fuck.
I just wanna chill.
Fucking, get the mosh pit away from me. I don't want to deal.
Yeah, exactly. I'll break in half.
Oh,
you
I'll
know?
still get in that bitch sometimes. But
Yeah, I think it's an interesting topic to talk about how this has affected us. I mean, we know that it has, but we've never really discussed it as a group, as a topic like this. So I think it's worth, and another thing too, guys, we talk about all the different people that got hurt by this. I know when we interviewed Jeff Gaither, he was talking about how much it hurt his business because a lot of his business are bands. And if the bands aren't playing, they don't need him to do posters and different things he does. And that really hurt his business pretty bad. I mean, he got hit hard last year with this.
yeah, he did. He was talking about
I
that.
believe it.
Yeah.
You know what's fucked up though? Like through the whole COVID thing, that's the thing cool about the underground, like Cash was saying, like house shows or whatever. But we've been to a lot of shows through it, like fucking Slam Dakota.
Not a lot, but we did.
I
Go
mean,
to-
You guys
More than
got to
a
go to a
handful.
few.
yeah,
Yeah,
we got to go to a few. So like, it was fucking cool, man.
and yeah, South Dakota was probably the biggest one during all that.
Yeah,
But
South
that's
Dakota's
just because that state was
Right,
More
they're a
open.
lot-
and,
right.
and that was at a venue. That was
that straight up a bar fucking
yeah, I think
venue.
that was like one of the only ones. Well, my show was at a bar.
Well, I
too.
mean-
Well, yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, Joey's had no firsthand because he still plays out.
yeah,
right.
So I know it probably hurt you a little bit.
And I know it hurt
Not that
me
you-
as an author because I didn't do appearances last year. And
Yeah.
Right,
October is
exactly.
when I do all my appearances. I mean, that's October, November is where all the
that's
writing stuff I go to. And the same with us with the podcast. So we haven't been able to, set up shop and sell books or
Fuck you, COVID.
T-shirts or whatever. So, yeah, it affects everybody
But there-
in some way, shape, or form.
Oh, definitely. But one positive thing that has come out of it, you saw a lot of album releases early.
Yeah.
Right. Well,
Yes.
I wrote a book.
Yes.
You know, that's how it works.
Yeah, so
Definitely the fucking early album. The motherfuckers is like, oh, we gotta get this out. People are craving music. We got to give it to them.
Yeah.
And you saw
but it's dope.
all those videos of like different band members from different bands collaborating
remotely
doing-
and shit.
remotely and like doing,
Oh yeah,
dude,
that was cool.
and that was
You know,
badass shit. But
yeah, Charlie Benante did it a lot.
Yeah. Scott in.
Yeah, it was cool. It was cool to see, stuff like that. But it is a double-edged sword because you put out an album. What's the next thing you do? You tour.
Yeah.
Well, you can't tour, but you did put on a lot of bands put on the live stream thing.
Yeah.
Put on a couple. Clutch did like 4 or 5 live streaming things. As far as
Yeah, I watched that Armored Saint show that way,
Yeah.
and then the Angelus Apatrida that way.
We watched the
Speaking of
Obituary,
Armored
yeah.
Saint, I totally
we
forgot. I
watched the
watched
Obituary.
Hellraiser 3 last night, and Armored Saint is in Hellraiser 3. I forgot
yeah.
about that.
No way.
Yeah.
oh yeah, dude, I
Yeah,
didn't
that
even think
scene
it.
in the club.
I
forgot.
Yeah, it's fucking amazing. It's cool at the end. It shows the band name and then all the members of the band that were there at the time is pretty cool. It's
That's
only for a
fucking
couple
badass.
seconds, but it's cool.
Hey.
You hear them for a minute, and then you see them on stage, and then that's it. It's cool though. So, well worth
I
checking
mean,
out.
you charge $14, and a lot of bands have packages as far
Right.
as you get the ticket, you get a shirt, you get a CD.
Yeah,
Where you getting
So,
that
you
for
know-
$14?
Well, it goes up. There's
14
different
for the
packages
show, then
that bands
fucking
Yeah,
have.
no,
30
I,
for the
I know what he's saying. I'm just
yeah.
fucking
No,
around.
they
But at
did
the
it.
same time, it's cool. Like they do that, and Pete, you did it with Angelus Aperture, like you said. But those bands, when you go to a fucking venue and you get fucking 100 drunk motherfuckers spending $100 each,
Right.
That's way better off.
Oh,
than
sure.
anything
They
you could
don't
do.
sell
Oh, yeah.
nearly as much, but they at least get something out of it. you
Yeah.
know.
Oh yeah.
But at least they got some cash.
Yeah.
And, like us, we're always pushing people. Buy a T-shirt, buy a CD. Because these guys make jack shit off of unfortunately streaming services.
Right.
It's great for us, but shitty for the band. I mean, we pay like $7 for a streaming service where you can get any album you want or song you want.
Right.
But you gotta get so many plays to even capitalize on royalties.
Right.
So
Yeah, it's bad.
You know.
It's bad.
yeah.
All right. Well, very cool. CK, anything anybody want to add to this topic here before we move on?
Fuck COVID.
I thought it was a pretty cool topic.
I think
do,
so
something
too.
different.
Yeah, something different. And like we said, not featuring a band. So we got all this Feather
Right.
Thief music to play. So, all right. Well, right now we're going to be playing some fucking Onslaught, some 6 fucking 6. So hang tight. All right, 6 fucking 6. We're going to talk about what we've been listening to. We always start with Chris. I'm going to start with you, CK.
Hell yeah.
What the
cool.
fuck you been listening to?
One of my friends, Rob, discovered this band Silver Talon. I've been jamming them lately.
What is it
Very
called?
cool. They're called Silver Talon.
Silver Talon.
Talon.
Yeah, right on.
Okay. All right.
Kind of like the Eddie LaRock plays a solo on one song. Kind of a traditional metal band. But slower. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Fate's Warning. So I've been listening to them.
Huh. Okay.
I've been listening to Firewind, band out of Greece. Gus G was Ozzy's guitarist at one point.
okay.
Queensryche and Angels Apatria. And of course, Malice's Wake and some Harlot and some Sabbath.
Nice. Very nice.
Sabath.
Joey, what about you, dude? What you been jamming?
A lot of brutal death lately. I was listening to Clitor Rape.
No,
and,
ever.
Cerebral Paralysis, and then I just got. We went to the show, and Miguel's band Virulent Excision.
Yeah,
they played.
Yeah.
they just put out a 4-way split that I was waiting to get because it was coming from overseas, and they got their copies. But
Right.
I got that at the show, and it has virulent excision, fetal deformity, gravitational distortion from Canada, and Goragot, and it's just brutal. It's just 2 songs from each band, but it's fucking sweet.
That's pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. What about you, Chris Shawback?
Basically, Virulent Excision I was jamming besides the show. Because they're badass. Check them out if you haven't heard them. Fucking Miguel and them shits are
Yeah, those
fucking
guys are
badass.
sick, man.
Also, Polka Dot Cadaver, because I love Polka Dot Cadaver. If you don't like Polka Dot Cadaver, fuck you. No, I'm just kidding. But I was listening to some Archspire the other day. I like Archspire a lot. It's pretty technical and shit.
Huh.
I don't play any instruments, but I like
Yeah,
them.
they're pretty good.
Yeah, they're pretty badass, dude.
That's cool. I'm not familiar with them.
Yeah.
I've been jamming some in Malice's wake. Also, I've been debating whether to use some of their music for my book trailer for the
yeah.
new Creation of Chaos, but I have some other ideas. I might not use it. So I've been listening to some to see what I might maybe make work. And today I was jamming some old Metallica, and there's a reason for that I'll get to later. So I was listening to some old, Master of Puppets, Metallica, Ride
go
the
wrong.
Lightning. So sick. Even the first one was jamming that.
Kill 'em
Just
all.
kill them all. So can Seek and Destroy. Some of those songs are so good. And it makes me mad, though, when I hear old Metallica because I know how great they once were. And it's like so shitty that they got so shitty
you
after
ever
that.
see that meme of fucking goddamn, I can't even remember their
Is it
singers.
Hetfield at the
Getting scanned
the
with the
metal
wand and like with
detector?
the fucking metal
yeah,
scanner
it's
that
not
beeps
going
it.
off. Yeah, hasn't seen metal since
Yeah, that shit's
1986 or
fucking
something like
funny.
that. Yeah,
You can't,
exactly.
In my opinion, you can't go wrong with the first 5 albums. Even the self-titled,
Yeah,
I still dig. I still like that album. I know a lot of people.
that's.
I'm not really opposed to it. I
No,
mean,
yeah.
I liked them after Cliff died, but it got less and less. Like the first couple, 3 after that, and then I just completely just got away from it. But I just love those first 3. I mean, those are to me
those
just
are
ultimate.
classic.
So all right, well, very cool. Also, a cool thing to do, guys, is to join that 666 Club.
Yes.
Satan.
Patreon supporters
Oh, shit, I
that
said
join,
Satan.
$3 a month. You get the episodes a day early. You get the karaoke songs when I do them, except today because it was a last minute thing. So I apologize to you guys that are hearing this going, wait a minute, I didn't get that early.
Yeah.
Nobody did. It was like a game time decision. So I snuck this one in. But anyway, $3 a month. We link to this in the episode description, patreon.com/Murder Metal Mayhem. You get 10% off the merch. Getting ready to launch a little merch bundle with the t-shirt and our activity book.
Yep.
And a free copy of the Roasting Posers DVD from the old heavycore days.
Fucking A.
It's sick. Lividity,
Classic.
propane, low 12, slug trail. It's good.
If I was one of the hosts of the show, I would definitely spend $3 for
Well, yeah, $3 is nothing. So
it. Yeah, it's changing your fucking car.
that's right.
That's true.
Now, also mentioning the shirts, the Jeff Gaither design shirts are really wicked. We still have some. We got large, extra large, and 2X, and that's it. So the sizes are going. So you definitely want to get on that.
Get you a
and
shirt.
Link to it in the episode description.
It's summertime. You can
so
cut
you
the
can get
sleeves
one.
off. Wear it, dude.
You
can do
could-
that.
you could do a belly shirt if you want.
customize
Yeah.
it, just
Right.
like Leanne did, dude. Fucking make it your
Yeah.
own, right?
So we got plenty of metal tonight, I think, guys. So CK, what the fuck do we need to do?
I got a special guest to tell us who's gonna. where
Oh
we're going.
no.
Oh shit, the bed.
Oh. We're gonna do. Hi guys. We're gonna do. We're gonna do a little mayhem now. Oh. Fuck old King Crow. Fuck that asshole.
Looking for a new hobby? Well, look no more. Our Feather a Month Club is just what you need in your life. We'll send you a handful of rare bird feathers every month, and you can make intricate fly fishing lures with them.
I joined the Feather of the Month Club, and I got tickets to a heavy metal flute concert. It was bitchin'.
That's right. You can make fishing lures while you jam to heavy metal songs done on a flute. How cool is that? Call us today at 800-FEATHER-THIEF and start a subscription for only $6.66 a month to bring the world's rarest feathers in your life.
Thanks, Feather a Month Club. What the fuck?
I'm fucking dying, dude. I
Dude, the
totally
look on your
forgot
face
about
is so funny. I know, that's how I was. I forgot about it.
Oh my god.
I'm like, this is a fucking... I would have lost my shit if I would have forgot that we did that.
Holy shit, I'm fucking dying.
Oh, God. We do these way ahead, and some of these I forget. Like I said, with this one, I'm like, oh, my God, we did a feather one.
Yeah, I forgot. I forgot they
That
got
was super good.
Feather a Month Club. Joey with the fucking, like, Bender Cumberbatch fucking voice going on there.
Like, so perfect, too.
Oh,
Join us today.
Yeah, that was great.
So
Chris with
perfect,
your
dude.
little effeminate voice there.
Hey.
And then my thank you, Feather a Month Club.
So good.
Ridiculous. All right, well, that was good. And before that, Edwin Rist.
Edwin
With
Rist.
the Game of Thrones theme on his flute there. So fucking
Heavy
crazy.
metal flute.
What a fucking weirdo.
Right? Now, does anybody have a mayhem story that's brief? Because we've got, we're past 2 hours and we've been talking about a feather thief.
I've got one coming up, but
Right,
not for
right.
right now. But
Okay.
I do have a good one. So
You got,
Okay.
let it churn, Joe, because when you let it churn,
Yeah,
it's
they
good.
come out good. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
No,
yeah.
That's a good one.
it's a good one. It's
All
about
right.
when I almost got raped. We'll tell that
Oh,
one.
wow. Okay. Well, very good.
yeah. I'll just leave it at that.
Oh,
Yeah.
Coming off the fucking hook in the eye. That's
Right, yeah.
getting great.
Yeah,
Wow.
let that one churn for a
Pretty
bit.
brutal. All right. Well, I do have some, news to report on Creation of Chaos 3. The book finally got here. The proof I showed you guys. It looks really great. Brian Usual did an awesome job with the artwork.
yeah.
I've had Brian did the first one and this one, and Joey, you did Creation of Chaos 2, and I've got this deal for all three. I've had several people order it, so it's a good deal with all three, posters for all three, bookmarks, all signed and everything, and they'll ship out as soon as I get the Creation of Chaos 3 books, which according to the printer will be June 14th. So the release date is Friday, June 25th.
Less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, and I've got a in the episode description where you can advance order it, and the advanced orders get some pretty cool perks. They not only will get the book probably before the release date, because as soon as I get them, I'm sending them out. You also get a free 11x17 color poster, a
You said
bookmark,
311.
and the audio book, which is going to be nuts. You'll get a zip
hell yeah.
file emailed to you with each of the MP3s of each of these stories. 11 of them read by me, 2 read by Brad Tucker. So it's some good stuff.
Hell yeah.
And they're turning out really good. I had to redo some of them. It's a long story, and I'd rather not get into it because
That's
I'll probably break my
that's
computer.
mayhem story
That
right
is
there.
a mayhem story for sure. But while supplies last, I'm going to even throw in a blunt force press shirt. So they're going, though. I've had several advance orders, so get yours today. And again, I'll link to that in the episode description. But if you like fucking scary, creepy, dark, disturbing, then
Horror type.
horror type novels, then
All
you
the books
definitely
are worth it. Trust me. I know firsthand, so it's definitely worth it.
Thanks, CK. Appreciate that.
No problem. I'm not just kissing your ass. 'cause
I
we're
know.
friends.
I know.
That's a lot of ass kiss.
That is. All right. Well, we got a killer cage match to get to tonight, guys. We're going back to the old school way. Episode, or each of the listeners get to contribute some random numbers, 1 through 70 for the killers, 1 through 70 for the objects, and some others that we make up the variable, kind of just a craziness to throw in the cage.
I fucking saw this. I'm like, this is a one-way battle, dude.
Oh yeah.
So tonight, though, we have some listeners we want to say thank you to again, Chris.
Yes, we do. We have, once again, we got Miss Lila Z, we got Jim Bethel, and we got Rebecca Boomsock. Thank you all, motherfuckers, very
Ooh,
much.
yeah.
And tonight, we got a good match going down, Joey. We got a couple of kind of patriotic themed foes because we're coming off of Memorial Day. It's kind of crazy.
That's kind of like a fucked up way
It
of putting
is. It is. So,
Fuck America! I am Osama bin Laden.
right?
And in the other corner, hey, I will fucking blow everything up. I'm Timothy McVeigh.
Right?
Just more
So Osama bin Laden and Timothy McVeigh fighting to death in a steel cage. But CK, they got a couple of interesting objects in there with them.
objects
they
and
do.
shit.
They have they'll have a stuffed horse cock and a 5-gallon bucket of hot roof tar in the cage for them.
Ooh.
And the variable is awesome.
No, the variable wins.
The variable is Mike Tyson after drinking McCormick whiskey at Shawback Nation.
Yeah.
So he's going to be pretty hammered, though.
Yeah, but it's Mike Tyson.
I know it's Mike Tyson, but dude, I mean, he's going to be
Mike Tyson.
hammered drinking
Yeah,
with you.
I know what he's going to be doing.
What do you think, CK?
Oh, man. Mike Tyson.
Obviously, I don't think Osama bin Laden has a chance because he was just like a pussy.
Bag of bones, yeah.
100%, yeah.
Yeah, Timothy
Timothy-
McVeigh is just going to straight up whip his ass.
Oh yeah, he's not even going to need any of the
Dump that hot
Variables.
fucking roof tar on top of his ass.
But I think Mike Tyson's just gonna be there going, yeah, it's a fight, yeah.
He's like, let me manage you, bro.
Put him in the nose, bite his ear off.
CK, Chris, what do you think, man?
I mean, I feel like Mike Tyson's going to win. He's going to get drunk and he's going to be stuffing his horse cock in anybody he wants.
It's very possible. Very possible. But I don't know, man.
I got Mike
Timothy
Tyson.
McVeigh's pretty tough. I know that it's Mike Tyson. I'm just having some concerns about the McCormick whiskey.
Oh,
Joey,
not
what
me.
is your take on this?
It wasn't Timothy McVeigh. He was a Marine, correct?
Army or Marine? I think he was in the Army.
Yeah, I can't
Maybe
I think it
Army.
was Army, unfortunately. Yes. I hate to say it.
I mean, I'm going to go with McVeigh all day in this one. Osama bin Laden, I don't see him doing much of anything with a horse cock. I don't even think he can pick up a 5-gallon bucket of hot roof tar.
No.
Right. And if he did, McVeigh's not going to let him, get
Yeah.
anywhere near him.
Nah, I think fucking a conversation between bin Laden and fucking drunk-ass Mike Tyson would be hilarious.
That
as
would be
fuck.
funny, yeah.
I think fucking that's going to be enough just right there to have McVeigh get so goddamn pissed off. He probably knows how to make a bomb out of a 5-gallon bucket of roof tar and a stuffed horse cock.
It's very possible.
Some
Oh,
way
yeah.
he'll
Might
blow
be in
those
the
fuckers
Anarchist
up.
Cookbook or
Yeah,
something. Yeah.
I'm going with McVeigh.
All right. Like I said, I'm leaning toward McVeigh too, but I guess it would depend how much McCormick whiskey. I mean, we talking about a couple of shots, or we talking about a fucking handle? I mean, like what?
Are you drinking with me?
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying. He's
that's
going
what
to be
I'm saying.
fucked up.
I just think Mike Tyson's just gonna be like cheering, and I don't think he's gonna.
And he's going to be smoking mad weed too.
Mad
so.
weed.
Oh yeah.
I think he's just going to call his fucking pigeons in and they're going to dive bomb in.
Oh yeah.
And they're fucking just going to shit on everybody.
Let me get my pigeons. Come on, guys.
All right. Well, I think we've done some good killer cage match tonight. Always fun to bash these around. They're always funny. I think we've done plenty of mayhem.
Fucking right.
Okay, hold on.
Uh-oh.
I got a new scenario.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh.
I love
All
new
right.
scenarios.
Go for it, dude.
I think Osama bin Laden, the only way he wins this
Okay.
is he's going to fucking get a hold of that hot roof tar and he's going to fucking give Timothy McVeigh blackface. And drunk-ass Mike Tyson's going to walk in and
Get
see
mad.
that and get so pissed he's going to beat him
kill
with the
him.
horse cock.
Dude,
To
I
death.
like that one. I like that one.
Yeah, that's
Hell yeah.
very, very.
I had to
Very
backtrack
possible.
and
No,
go with
I
that.
like
All
that.
right. I like that too. All right. Well, very good.
I feel like I didn't get colorful enough in this one, so I had to...
No, that was nice.
good.
I like
think
it.
was
That was
good.
good. It was
All
good.
right. Well, we've done plenty of mayhem tonight, guys. So let's hit that fucking outro. That was a little more Edwin Rist on the flute with his cover of the Hobbit theme. So
I hope you guys were all circle banging to that because it was fucking
that was
heavy
badass.
as shit.
We're gonna have to go ultra nasty next episode. That's for sure. Dude is super talented, but it is too bad he was such a douchebag to do what he did. I mean, honestly. So
Hell yeah, dude, he could have been in one of them orchestras and shit. That
he
maybe
is.
He was.
He is in an orchestra.
No, I know that, but like, you ever see the videos with fucking Dimmu Borgir and shit? The fucking black man with the orchestras in the back.
Right.
He would have been loving that shit,
Oh,
like
yeah.
fucking metal, fucking flute.
That's true, man. That's
Metallica
true.
did a whole album.
Yeah,
with a
Metallica with the fuck.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
Edwin Rist.
he is going under
Dude.
another name in Germany. We don't know what
Yeah.
his name is, so he very well could be doing shit like that.
Dude,
you
that'd
know?
be fucking crazy.
It's
If
crazy.
he's in there and you just don't know. Nobody knows
Right.
it's him.
So
May have to buy
Edwin
it.
Rist, the heavy metal flute, was all the bumper music tonight. All right, CK, your intro music is by which band?
The one and only Crisix.
Hell yeah. Murder Metal Mayhem intro, Chris, is by who?
You, Pete.
Me.
Low 12.
That's right. Yeah, I got, it was a couple weeks ago, somebody saw me somewhere. It's like, hey, didn't you used to play in a band? I'm like, yeah, it's been a while. Nobody usually recognizes that anymore. So it was kind of cool. Good old school fan that remembers the shows back in the day.
I do its
right.
podcast now, motherfucker.
I
Listen
did.
to
I
it.
told him about it. Yeah, maybe he's listening. All right, Joey.
Onslaught.
Very good. Like you read my mind.
Onslaught does our 6'6" fucking six.
Put
That's
it
right.
in it. Put it. You got to put it in the form of a question. Like,
Oh yeah.
Who is on
Yeah, who is Onslaught? What is Onslaught? All right, go to Rotten Cotton, thanking them for being a sponsor of the show and the Voice of Dread. 15% off if you use that code Mayhem. RottenCotton.com. T-shirts, stickers, buttons,
they got everything.
comics, all sorts of good
You
stuff.
could be all day on that friggin' website.
Yeah, and they got some of the coolest serial killer shit. I've been talking about the Panzram T-shirt. They got fucking Ed Gein. They got Fish. She's got some sick shit. So definitely go on and check it out. Also, Spellbound Effects and Art.com. We
Check out
always love
Tony's
Tony's shit. Yeah, he's amazing.
Tony's got the
gore.
baddest shit. Gore.
Yeah.
Gore.
That's right. So check him out, spellboundeffectsandart.com. And of course, we link to all these guys in the episode description. So scroll down and give them a listen. Thanks to all of you guys checking the show out. We keep seeing the numbers rolling in. We're about 3,200 this week, so we appreciate you guys.
Fucking right.
Chris, first one in the box. What's up with this guy?
Tori Hilbrand. I think, isn't Tori a lady's name?
I don't know.
Tori Hilbrand
It could be both.
Yeah.
says, I was waiting for you guys to do the Gypsy Rose story. Crazy shit for sure. It was really funny to hear y'all talk about it. Great job as always. I'm in Houston, but originally from Chicago, Illinois. What up? You guys do Illinois proud.
Fuck
We
yeah.
try. We try.
Hey, we do
Cornfields.
Danbury proud
Cornfields.
too.
That's right. Although Danbury and Bloomington are no longer in the top 10. It's
Yeah, I can't figure that
Columbus,
out.
Manhattan, Chicago are like neck and neck, Manhattan and
people,
Chicago.
That's
so.
because people like Tori be moving out of Illinois.
That's right.
Nah, just kidding.
Joey, what about that next one, dude?
Carlos Santos said, I absolutely love this podcast. I've been listening now for about 8 months, and every week you guys make me LOL, laugh out loud. Love that karaoke at the end. So original. Thank
Fuck
you.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
fucking
Carla.
right.
Thank
All
you.
right, CK, what about that third one, bud?
Dave Metal God 777 commented. Big shout out to CK for being the great metal motherfucker. Thank you. I appreciate it so much. I really do. I've been jamming choruses ever since you guys talked about them. So killer.
Fuck yeah.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that comment, and that's the reason why I love doing this podcast every week.
Yeah.
Podcast is the shit.
Yeah, that was cool of him to say, and I'm glad we turned somebody on to Corzus. They're just such a great band. So, all right, Meredith Jenkins commented, "You guys are the best. My boyfriend turned me on to you a year ago. He dumped me last month, but at least I have
What
you
a
guys
dick.
to keep my spirits up. He's a loser anyway. I'm a listener from Atlanta, Georgia. So fuck yeah, Meredith.
ATL hit up, dude.
Well, don't we have a guy
Hit up a Borning,
whose girlfriend?
Yeah,
turned
I
him
think
on
we
to us?
did. Yeah, I think we did. So
Then-
maybe make a love
then she
connection on
dumped-
Murder
yeah.
Metal Mayhem. So
Gang.
that's awesome. All right, well, don't forget to check out murdermetalmayhem.com to listen to the episodes. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Check out the show on Amazon Music, Spotify, Stitcher, CastBox, iTunes, and more. And please leave comments and rate the show. It helps people find us on those lists that go on and on and on forever. So the more people that like it and comment makes us go up higher on the list. So also,
it's like a fucking internet boner.
That's right. In a way, yes, it is. It is. Join the 666 Club. Go to the patreon.com/murdermetalmayhem. Just $3 a month. Very cheap. You can go to PeteAltieri.com if you want to pick up one of my books. As I mentioned, I'll have a link in the episode description of the advanced order link that you can follow to order advanced The Creation of Chaos 3, which will be here about middle of June, and the release date is the 25th, but you'll get them early from me.
Hell
Check
yeah, I
out.
can't wait.
Yeah, I can't either, dude. I'm going to send yours out when the first batch.
Yeah, I'm totally stoked.
New podcast, of course, I've been mentioning, voiceofdread.com. If you like horror and stuff like that, scary shit, I do some horror, and we've got some good ones coming up. I'm trying to line up a very special guest, but I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to jinx it. I have not heard back yet from their agent.
You already got me coming on at some point. So
That's right. That's right. But this one is an icon in horror for sure if I can get him on there. So we'll let you know. Can't let him go without hearing a karaoke song. I had a busy weekend and I didn't have time to do one, but whenever somebody raises or throws the gauntlet down on some karaoke,
You figured out time, huh?
I have to figure out a way to make it happen. But my wife said, as we were driving into work this morning, she said, why didn't you do the Feather Thief for karaoke, and when he did Master of Puppets, you sing along
you do
with
the
them.
vocals on that.
And I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. But I'm like, yeah, but I didn't do it. I don't really have time. And I found the 25 minutes or whatever it took me to do it. So crank this shit the fuck up. And until next time, keep one foot in the gutter.
And keep your fist holding the dog's tail in the air so that young punk can suck its asshole.
what?
And the passion play, crumbling away on your source of self-destruction. Taste me, you will see, more is all you need. Dedicated to how I'm killing you. Come crawling faster, obey your master. Your life burns faster. Obey your master. Master upon me to pulling your strings, twisting your mind and smashing your dreams. Blinded by me, you can't see a thing. Just call my name and I'll hear you scream. Master.
Mother, man.